driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Hope everyone is having a so far good morning. And obviously, we're all still pretty pissed off from the game yesterday. I mean, seriously, how far does this crap have to go? Seriously, it's bloody uncomfortable, you know what? But how far do we have to go? On the other side of it, I think if you'd have said at the start of the game, I think a lot of people predicted a draw and a loss over a win. But if you would have said to me a 2-2 draw with Bournemouth, you know what? I'd have took it. And I think most people on here would have as well. But seriously, again, that was an abysmal performance. How we did not end up losing that, something like 4-2, if we'd have still got the 2 goals, 4-2, 5-2. I say I don't know, but I do. Again, Bournemouth's finishing overall was pretty poor. And we had a bit of luck go our way. But it's the same problems time and time again. And that is the frustration here more than anything. Look, I'm sure everyone knows my opinion on Ange. He ain't going to change. And I think there's reasons to it. I'll leave it at that. But my man is not going to change. He's not going to adapt. A lot of people starting to ask questions now. A lot of people jumping off the fence onto Ange out. And it is starting to go about in some of the news that I've read. And we all know what the news is like on Google, internet and everything. It can be the biggest BS you ever want. But I can only go by what I read. And it is starting to say that basically, I know a lot of us are saying no shit Sherlock to this, but Mr. Postecoglou is on his last legs. And if he does not perform and we do not do and get our fingers out our ass and get our act together against AZ, there's a lot of rumours starting to go about that will be his day. I mean, if we're going to be real, we should have dropped this man 9 months ago. Give him the start of the season. No, don't work for that 10 games. He should have been gone. Baked potato. See you later, mate. Done, dusted, out. But for some strange reason, we've actually stuck by this man. And I know that's what a lot of people have asked for. Do we finally stick by a manager? When we actually do, it's the wrong manager to stick by. This just is not going to work. Not in the English Premier League. I mean, with the game yesterday, I feel we got a couple of things right. But as usual, he got the majority wrong, as per usual. So I'm going to say hello to a couple of people on the side and then go into the game, basically. Well, that is how I will do it. So, just to say hello to people on the side. Finn, big up Dan and the chat. Ange out. Totally agree with you, mate. Hope you're having a good morning. And my wife, Beth, good morning, husband. Enjoy your peace whilst it lasts. Yes, until my little brother gets back here. Your little brother, my little brother. Well, he's my brother-in-law, but he's 12 coming on 13. We play a lot of games together on the PlayStation, and you know what? He's bloody good at it. He just don't do FIFA or nothing like that, and I'm a bit bored of just being that good at FIFA. And he's my little brother as well. So, Samuel, if you're watching somewhere, mate, big up to you. And we'll see you soon enough when you get back here. Yep. And Tony, my man, how are we doing? Always on here, mate. Much appreciated. Big up Dan and Guess and Chat. And out. I've gone past caring. Now, look, I'm going to say this straight, mate. I'm going to say this once to everyone. Come on. Show a bit of leeway here, yeah? What happened last night? It's done. It's dusted. Everything's made up. Everything's friends again. It's just a moment we all have in life, yeah? So do us a favour, mate, and please, everyone on the chat, leave it out of there and get off his back. And Perchy, big up, mate. How you doing? I must admit, some of the points that Sav has read out lately that you have said, I can't debate them, even if I wanted to. I cannot argue them. Some of them mess-ups that Romero, and I will go into it, made yesterday, you are 100% right on what you said on the WhatsApp and that as well. If that would have been Dragoson, sorry, terrible pronouncing names, as you know, he would have got absolutely cooked for it. He would have absolutely got destroyed if he would have made those mistakes and nearly cost us. I'll go into Romero. The man's pissed me off. But if that would have been another defender, they would have absolutely got slated. And you're 100% right in what you said there, mate. And James Cook, morning, Dan. Big up to you, mate. Good to see you back and streaming. Much appreciated. I had to take significant time off, and it will happen again. I am inconsistent on here. I don't deny it. But the way I've done it this time was take 2-3 weeks off, jump on a little show here and there. And what I've done is jump on other people's shows now lately for a couple of hours here and there, and just so I could build myself up to doing my own ones again. Do you know what? If anything, I still feel drained from doing that 8-9 hours on Sabbath one. This does take it out of you more than some people realise, for sure, mate. But thanks, James. It's much appreciated, fella. And Rinnick Sport, it's the famous Perchy. Yes, it is. And Corey Boy, hey, how we doing, mate? Hope it's all good for you this morning, George. The guy is a con artist. Must have got his coaching badges off Del Boy. I don't know what you want me to say. I really don't. Big up to you, mate, but I really can't argue that. He is not cut for the English Premier League. Simple as that. Stick him in Scotland, somewhere like that, it'd be cushy. Well, who wouldn't really be sweet with Celtic? Come on, I bet you any one of us could go to Celtic. I do think lowly of that league. It sounds insulting, but for me, I just say how it is in that aspect. It's ranked lower than the American League, for God's sake. And any one of us could go to Celtic and win that league. Simple as that, as far as I'm concerned. And he's just not cut out for the English Premier League. My man can't adapt, and his main tactics, it does not work. over a season. Stick him in the Liga, stick him in Serie A, stick him in Bundesliga, which I consider the top leagues. French league, meh, Paris Saint-Germain apart from that. And he's not doing it, even with the best players out there. His defense is so wide open. It is absolutely shocking. And with that, it's just, I just don't think he would work in a big league. Even if he had Man City, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Napoli, the list goes on, Real Madrid, I just don't think he'd have the capability to do it, because you cannot be that open at the back in every flipping game. But that's another one I'll come to. It's just, do you know what? A lot of this is just run and repeat, 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 repeat. You talk about a game, you talk about the game for what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 even when you go on a certain few players. And then every bloody time it comes back to the tactics, the manager. And I am sick to death of his bloody name. I do want this man out of here in a big, big way. God forbid we win that Europa. I would absolutely love it. But then that means I'd have to put my hands up and say, do you know what? Fair play, fella. You've given me what I want. And that is a cup. And especially a Europa Cup win the Champions League, which is something I must admit I don't want to see, because we will get absolutely torn a new one to the point that we will walk off that pitch looking like John Wayne, for God's sake. And with that, it is just, we are not Champions League material. Never in a million years. And I do not want to see us going to a tournament just to get absolutely shafted. So, and anyway, Darren, big up to you, man, who says, morning, Dan the man, much appreciated. Ben, how we doing, mate, with the coffee? I really am going to have to come see you soon. Hopefully when Brian comes over, I intend to come over and have a coffee, because there is nothing wrong with a good couple of coffees, especially in the morning. And Lily White, I hope you're doing all right, mate. Big up to you. Morning, Dan. You could see the huge difference in the press from both teams. Bournemouth was structured, aggressive and organised, where ours was like a load of under-10s just running the ball. Ours was just Spurs, just Ange. That is what it was. In literally that game against Bournemouth, you could see tactics, you could see technique, whatever words you want me to use. You could see they had a plan for every moment of that game. They had a plan for when they didn't have the ball, for when they did have the ball, and what to do with the ball when they got it. They had a plan. We just don't seem to do it. We just don't. We sort of have a plan for the game. And I know a game can be very, if the right word is, spontaneous as such, if that is the right word, again. But there's no bloody plan there. You can see it. The players are just playing by the, pardon the cheesy bit, but the spur of the moment sort of thing, basically, or Spursy at the moment. And there's just no plan. No one reads that bloody game, bar one or two players. Everyone, nearly everyone, is just being played totally out of sync. And another one I'll go to, Vicario, I'll go to him later. If it was not for him, it would have been game over within about 15 minutes. And Howling Mad, how we doing, mate? Big up Dan and all here in the chat. And Dave Hamilton, SSDD Dan. Yeah, nice one. And the Boomverse, big up to you, mate. Morning, and big up Dan. And Alfred, Angie's a legend. Yes, he is. He is an absolute legend. This man will go on the history books of Spurs, I agree, as the worst manager we have quite possibly ever had. So I agree with that. And Phil Coys, happy Monday to you all. And Coys, as always, happy Monday to you, mate. And Lily White's morning chat. Queen Elly, how are we doing? Do you know what, Elly? We have not seen you on here for a long time now. Why? Come on, say your bit. You're always chatting on the side. Come on for 10 minutes, half hour. Come say hello to everyone. People ain't seen you, you know. Come on one of our shows. I'll put the link in WhatsApp. Come on and say hello, for God's sake. Haven't seen you, had a good chat with you for a while. Miss you a lot, same as a lot of people do. And anyway, Queen Elly is saying, big up Dan and all the panel. And as your title says, yes, we were bloody lucky. Yes, we were. We got away with that one there. I totally agree. The match played out like I thought it would, with Bournemouth clearly the more clearly the better team, basically. And I totally agree. And Aussie Ange hater, big up, Dan, big up to you, mate. And Peter Sims, morning, Dan and chat. And Craig O'Sullivan, big up. And Sim, I'm not even going to go out your numbers, mate. Morning all, morning to you too. Alfred, just people stay off it, stay out of it. There's no need for it. And Brian Daigle, here he is. Big up to you this morning, mate. Hope you're all right. I know you got lack of sleep like the rest of us last night, so hope you feel better and get some. And I've gone past it. We didn't lose because thankful Kepa was born with a bozogram. Mate, we was bloody lucky yesterday, and that's all there is to it. I mean, that goal that Papa scored, it almost looked good. That has got to be one of the worst crosses I've ever seen, and it went in the back of the net. So, you know what? At the end of the day, who gives a flying monkeys? Yeah, it went in the back of the net. A goal's a goal, as far as I'm concerned. But a fluke was an understatement there. My man, he meant to cross that ball, and it just went so tits up. It went in the back of the net. It's almost comical. Fair play on Son for getting the penalty. He read that game well, like an expert, basically. He saw that Kepa was coming for it, and he made sure he got the penalty out of it, 100%. But what was Kepa doing? Again, I'm not complaining. Confident penalty by Son. Oh, pardon me, that's the coffee. And I think he had one of his better half hours yesterday. But just because he had a decent half hour, does that mean all of a sudden everything has changed? No, not for me. Out of a lot of that team who has had an abysmal season by his standards, it's a sad thing to say, but Son, you know what? The thing that really gets to me about Son is going to be the same thing as Hugo. Yes, brilliant, done excellent for us. Absolutely love him, brilliant, done well. But we should have sold him 2 years earlier. I didn't want that sticking with Son. I just wanted us to be able to say how brilliant he was. And it was the same thing with Hugo. He was a good keeper, very good keeper at times. I do not class him as a world-class keeper, as some do. But again, each their own, whatever turns you on at the end of the day. And he got labelled with the same thing. Well done, good captain. Not that I agree with a captain in goal, but good captain, done his dues, good goalkeeper, very good at times. Long time at the club, much appreciated, but should have sold you 3 years earlier. But the same thing is happening to Son now. There is always going to be that but at the end of when you talk about him now, with a majority of people. And Brian, big up Dan and chat, big up to you, mate. And Edwardson, that's easier to just say your second name like that. At least we were entertaining, mate. If that's entertainment, then I don't know what TV channels you watch. I suppose for an average supporter, just watching Spurs be Spurs at the moment over the season is just pure entertainment. And Craig O'Sullivan, Brian in the house, yes, he is. And Brian just saying here, good morning all and everyone, and to chat my brother at HotspurHood. Hope you are all well. What a time to be alive. Yes, it is. Being a Spurs supporter, is it ever a good time to be alive? And Edwardson saying again, if we lose to AZ, he loses his job. That is what he's saying on the press. But I got it wrong with the February thing. I do think Levy is going to hold on to this man until the end of the season and then say, see you later. I hope so anyway. But he does suck up to Levy that hard. No, I don't know. He might keep him because the thing is, Levy is in a bit of a catch-22 at this moment, which is good to see. He knows a lot of people want Ange out, but he knows there is still a lot of Ange lovers out there. So one way or another, no matter what Levy does here, he is going to get absolutely grilled one way or another. I mean, how people absolutely love this manager, I don't get it. I don't, let alone understand it. I just don't get it. The only thing I do get is maybe we just don't want to keep rotating the managers after 18 months. I get that. I understand that. But, mate, this fella is awful. How can people keep defending this shit? I mean, that is what? 18 games we have lost this season. 18. And we still got another, what, 10, 11 games to play, something like that. I can't remember the exact number. How can people love him off? How? But again, at the end of the day, whatever turns you on, we all get tickled by something different. And Queen Elly says, no shit, Sherlock. Love that saying, Dan. Not heard that one in years. Mate, Elly is a saying I've used all the time. I suppose age just shows there an environment and where you grow up in. And Edwardson, that's no way even Daniel Levy is that bad a chairman that you would allow it. Yep. And Rennick saying hi, Bright. And Queen Elly saying again, we can't stick with this manager as he has to go. Yes, he does. And James, I'm going to say your bit before I go into it. I'll bring up as many chats as I can, but I'm already a million miles behind. And I do struggle to keep the chats going while also on here. Why? Because I am a normal average man that can't do two things at the same time. Yes. And let's get into it. Right, I'll go with Ange first, yeah? And he got the tactics totally wrong, as he usually does. And I also believe... Do you know what? I also believe that at least half those players just don't want to play for him anymore. I mean, surely as a defence, you do not want to play with a manager like that. He can make a very good defender look extremely, extremely bad. But I feel we got the right subs. The only one I would have changed was, instead of bringing Bergville on half-time, I would have brought Maddison on at half-time and then Bergville later on in the game. But I feel we got the subs right at the right time. He made subs half-time, which I've complained about a lot, that he leaves it till it's way too late or until we're just 3-0 down, or we was 2-0 down by the second half. Fine. But I think he made the right subs. And for that, credit where credit is due. But on the other side of it, that is just being a bloody manager and doing your flipping job, for God's sake. But where he rarely gets it right, we end up praising him for it. But you got the subs right. And also bringing on the players in 60 minutes, I personally feel that's a good time to bring on players. I mean, me personally, again, as I say, I've got my own tactics to football or my own style, how we prefer to play. Sure, everyone does. Except all the Ange lovers out there who just don't seem to have a clue about the tactics about football. But again, each their own, whatever turns you on. And 60 minutes, I think, is a good time to make a sub. Even if your team, everybody is playing excellent, I still feel you can bring on a sub or two to rotate it a little bit. And especially if you're 2 goals, 3 goals in front, or 3-1 or whatever. Or even if you're only 1 goal in front, I feel 60 minutes is a good time to make a substitution, because I'm sure you can tell that there's one player on there who's a bit more knackered than the rest, and that is the rotation for me. I just do feel 60 minutes is a good time to make a sub, because he can come on, get his act together for about 5 minutes and get into the game. And yes, I know you bring on subs at 60 minutes and they do sweet FA on there. I mean, another one for me, I'm just happy that Johnson came off that pitch. I'm just happy that Johnson came off that pitch. I mean, just to read what you're saying here, Matt. I mean, Matt, I'm not sure if it's the Matt I see on the Savage show and that, but if it is, do let me know. Come on, mate. We drew with a very strong team who were challenging for top 4. No, I totally agree with that. Bournemouth are miles ahead of us. The point of it is, Matt, is we got that through nothing but pure luck. And it's nice to have a bit of luck going your side, because Spurs, we just don't seem to get the luck these days. We just don't seem to get it. And we got very, very lucky yesterday. So I get what you're saying. And I said it at the very start, if you listen to what I said, in the aspect of, if you would have said to 90% of us, I personally think, again, random numbers, but I would say a higher amount, and you would have said 2-2 against Bournemouth, take it, or do you expect to win? I think a very high majority would have took that draw. So I'm not complaining as such about the result, Matt. It's more the way we got the result. You've got to look at it that way. I mean, I'll go into it in a second and hopefully you can understand it or at least get it from what I'm trying to say here. But I feel Ange got the right subs this time. He did it right. And what's this animal? Hey, Dan, take off your sunnies. You're better without it. Yes, I know I'm a sexy man, definitely Champions League style. But in that aspect, I need to wear them, mate, when I'm on a computer. I do. It's all to do with the frame rate, the pixels on it, and being so close to the screen. When I do it in the bedroom, that just sounded pretty bad, didn't it? When I do this in the bedroom, I always do it on my iPad, and an iPad gives you a total pixel system, frame rate, this, and this, all different to what a monitor screen does. And yes, it pisses me off having to wear them, but I do have to wear them. And going back onto the game, it's just the fact of we was lucky. But I feel Ange got the right subs for a change. So credit where credit is due. The fact that we have to credit our manager on that just about says everything that is happening. How was we done again in this game? Same way it is every game. Open down the flanks, down the bloody wings. And the one they always seem to pick on now, which I feel was drifted a bit, because it used to be the right-hand side, they go for that left-hand side. They go for Porro. My man can't defend. He tries, and I won't take that away from him, but trying isn't good enough. This is the English Premier League. You need to perform. He's not... I do apologise. It always seems I get a phone call when I'm on it. Now, with that, go away. Bloody... flipping phone. With that, it's opened up Porro again. He just don't defend. He can't do it. He gets in front of the ball sometimes with a good block. He's got the bottle to do it. I'll give him all that, but he can't do it. Spencer's already proven he's a better right back, defensive wise especially, and pretty good at going forward from the games I've seen him play now. Overall, than Porro or Udogie. Do I think he's better going forward than Porro? In some aspects, yes. In some aspects, no. I think Spence definitely has more control of the ball. I think he's a bit more slick on the ball. And I think he's a bit more confident on it. Porro, for me, has got the charge and he's got the cross. I think he is the best crosser of the team. The one you can argue that is with Maddison, but he's not a winger, is he? I would rather play Spence on the right. And I've been saying for a long time now, Porro up on the right-hand side, right wing. That is how I would prefer it to be done. And then get them crosses in there. And Porro, I believe, has got the capability to do that. But he is not a flipping defender. And that goal, a lot of people blame Porro for that. I personally don't. Watching it again, it weren't the greatest pass to the player that so many people seem to love as well, Mr. Brennan Johnson. It was the actual control of the ball off of Johnson. It basically hit his foot and bounced, 6 foot, 7 foot off of it. Again, my man has no ball control, along with a lot of other stuff he doesn't have. And then straight away, their player, can't remember his name, he gets it. We are open for over 60 yards down that pitch. He could have jogged it. Now, I'll give Porro this. He charged back and he tried to get it. But how is my man meant to get back to him when he's basically stuck in the number 10 position, like the manager tells him to do? Someone tell me. Do please do it. Excellent cross by them, and it goes in the back of the net. Is what it is. It happens to us game after game. It hasn't changed since last season. And with that, the one I do feel has changed, but don't get done over the top quite as much. But it's the same as last season's, and we're just getting done the same way again and again and again. Nothing has actually changed. The way we keep getting cooked every bloody time, they're not. It's the same way, and everybody, even AZ, went for it, for God's sake. And some people do not realize this. And again, I don't understand how some people do not realize this. Oh, and I've only just noticed you. Sorry, was not looking. Oh my days, people, we have a special guest. You were sitting there. I only just got
Oh,
in the corner of my eye.
that's okay, mate. I was going to go holla, holla.
I'm sorry.
When you said to me, "Come on, Elly, come on," I thought I'll make a special exception for you, Dan, because I love you. You know I love you.
Thanks a lot. It's appreciated.
Yeah.
So, well, seeing as your ears, I've just started.
Let's get into it.
He got the right subs. Do we agree on that? At the right times?
Yeah. He put them on early enough for them to make an impact. Just put it that way.
And with the goals, again, same time. I mean, how did you see that goal? Would you blame that more on Porro, or would you say that was more a bit of both? It wasn't the best pass, but it wasn't the worst. But as soon as it hit Johnson's foot, it just came flying off, because I just think my man is, apart from his tappings, which, okay, he's useless.
I called him the tapping assassin. Yeah, no, it was a bit of both, really. You could blame both players, because as a winger, right, you've got to have a good touch to take the ball, right? And Porro passes the ball, and it's a bit inaccurate, so Johnson has to adjust his body, but he hasn't got the prowess to control the ball, because he's rubbish, isn't he? He just can't control the ball. Same with Odegaard on the other side. He can't control the ball either. We've got two useless wingers. They're not even wingers. They're not wingers, but it was a calamity of errors, and then they just broke. And what a great cross by Kirkes. Fabulous.
Absolutely smashed it with that one.
That's one of the best crosses I've ever seen in my life.
It was an excellent cross, but in one aspect, it wasn't hard to do in the aspect of the finishing from the other side. But the cross itself, even with no pressure on you, whatever, was a phenomenal cross.
Yeah,
no two
and
ways
that's
about
to do with tactics as well, because Porro bombs forward. There's a massive gap behind, which they know they can exploit, because they've seen other teams do it. You don't have to be a rocket science to find that out, right? So the ball goes over, Kirkes, fantastic, 1-0. It's so simple. It's so simple for other teams to just.
What's that? Spurs.
Yeah.
Spurs are just simple, innit? And our manager seems a bit simple as well.
Yeah, we play like a bunch of 5-year-olds. I even posted it, like 5-year-olds playing football. That's what we look like.
I mean, I'm going to jump a second with what Tony has just said to something. I mean, I always put my spine line of what I'm going to talk about written on a book. But usually when you get guests come on, you don't even get to phase 3 sort of thing.
Very true.
I'm sure we will cover all of this, Elly. And again, I am over the moon to see you on here. Love you to bits, and I'm sure a lot of people are glad to see you on here as well. And hope everything is better for you, as I know you weren't particularly well at one point, same as me, same as all of us and that. And then the last thing you need to do is come on here and talk about Spurs, because that can put you into a major... Yeah, because that can just put you into a major part of depression. So when my wife says to me when I come off here a bit moody or watching Spurs, she's like, I have no sympathy. It's self-inflicted. And you know, it's just
it's all our dad's fault, isn't it?
I know for me, I can blame my mate for that. I was actually a Liverpool supporter when I was about 5-6 years old.
Oh, right.
My mate's dad took me to a Spurs game, and how should I say, converted. And yes, definitely picked the wrong one there.
Yeah.
But I'll go to that one quickly, and I'll go back to the game. I will go back to the game. I'm even going to write that down to remember it, because my memory is shot to shit. And Romero comes out for me with shocking thank you to the Argentina med team. Now, people say, was this a dig? Was this a thank you and a dig? Was it disrespectful to Spurs? Was it on purpose? Was it this? Was it that? Me personally, Elly, I think he was just saying thank you to the people who fixed him up.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And then it almost sounds insulting because the Spurs Meds team, they couldn't fix someone with a fucking cold. Yeah, they'd probably go stick them in a bloody freezer or something and say, "I hope you warm up." They seemed that terrible. I mean, we'll go on to his game in a minute.
Do you know what makes me laugh as well, Dan? I was going to just say, Dan, do you know what makes me laugh? Every time Argentina are going to play a game, he's always available. Plus,
without fail,
right, after his
fail,
comments
Elly.
about the club, don't you think it's a bit strange? After the comments about the club, he just goes missing. I know he had an injury, but that injury couldn't have been that bad, right? I think they were just not letting him play because he made those really damning comments about our club, right? Which he had the right to, because everybody who's got a bit of nonce knows that our club is shit and it's run shitly. It really is.
Just a quick one here to Edwardson. HotspurHood, Dan, you managed to totally miss the point. That comment about being entertainment was sarcastic. But look, I will say to you, no shit, Sherlock, because I was being sarcastic as well. So let's just say that might have gone over both our heads. But, mate, I was being sarcastic as well. We are not entertaining unless it is another team watching. I totally got what you were saying, mate. I was just being sarcastic back. So let's just call that 50-50. It went over both our heads, and that was an absolute shitheader on both sides. It was sarcasm on both sides. But go on, Elly, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I was just saying, because he made those damning comments about Levy and the progression of our club. He called us out like Conte did, but in a more subtle way. And then ever since then, he had a little toe injury, I believe, and then he wasn't played. He's come back just in time for Argentina. So
he always does it.
Yeah, he always does it. Right, I don't blame him for loving his country. There's nothing wrong with that and wanting to play for your country. But you put your club first as well, on a maybe not on a level because you love your country more than your club normally. That's what players do.
But you give it your all for both, don't you?
Give your all to your club as well. And like yesterday, oh my God, he was so bad. It was like watching a new player, like coming to the side and like cock up. It was so bad, then.
Oh, look, I've never thought he was a world-class defender.
No,
I personally think he's a very good defender on his day. Yeah. He is a bit erratic. People do say, could you play him as a 6? I do believe he's got the capability for it to play as a DM, but I don't think he's got the mentality for it. And what I mean by that, he's too erratic and he'd be looking too far forward with it and he'd be all over the place. I don't think he's got the mental capability to do a DM. Whereas as a defender, he is good. And on his day, he is very good.
Yeah.
And when you put him when you put him against with better players like Argentina, World Cup winners, how shall I put it with Argentina? They've always been very, to an extent, disciplined as such. You do find it with a lot of South American teams. There's a lot of flair in it usually, but there's usually discipline in there.
Yeah, Argentina are the most disciplined.
And he's with a team that is significantly better, so he's going to look better. Yeah. And when he plays for them, he actually plays bloody good. But I just don't class him as world class. And I've said it to enough people. I would take Milinkovic over him all day long.
Yeah.
But would he work in this style of football? What defender does work in this style of football?
I know.
So it's a personal opinion. I just watched Milinkovic for 5 years straight and screamed Spurs to get him. Forest nicked him for 12.5 million, and that pissed me off no end. And I just want my defender to be level-headed. Certain things I want my defender to do. I don't want him to be a winger. I don't want him to be a centre mid. I want him to be a defender. Okay, maybe a bit of a ball-playing defender does help as well, but what defender does look good in these tactics? Well, it definitely ain't Romero, is it?
No.
How many shockers did he have in those first, let's say, I'm not going to be precise here, but first 10 minutes, for me, he nearly cost us 4 goals in 10 bloody minutes.
Yeah. I counted 4 as well. I was counting them because I was thinking, what bloody going on here? Because his passing is usually on point. Romero's passing is pretty good. You know, and when he brings the ball out from defence,
For a defender, yes.
he takes a bit of eternity when he's coming out with the ball, you know, but that's because of our movement. Our movement is pants, you know, so he's holding on to the ball too long sometimes because he hasn't got enough movement from the players. And when somebody does move, he doesn't spot it sometimes.
I do think he's very slow on the ball, Elly.
Yeah,
he slows the game going
he's a
forward.
methodical player, isn't he? He slows the ball down, slows the game down, sorry.
Like what you'd want a DM to do, basically.
Yeah, he overthinks things, doesn't he?
Yeah,
but
no,
like I said, Dan, the movement is not there.
I don't think he overthinks. I think he just doesn't spot it as quick as other players do.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, some players, no, not bad at all. It's just seeing it different. I think some players, even if they're pretty, you know, just an all right player, when they've got it up there, it makes up for everything else.
Yeah.
But like you can have a player who's got
things, doesn't he? Because he's a creative. Yeah. He sees things quickly, and he'll see a movement, and he'll pin a pass. Whereas
that
Romero,
is exactly why he's there.
Yeah,
but then we've also seen players with extreme capability who just seem to be on a football pitch as thick as a 2x4, basically. And it is what it is. I'm not saying Romero is that, because he does see the game and read it at times quite well. But when it comes to the passes and that, I just don't think he spots them very quickly, and he has to have a look. Whereas when it used to be, I know this is a total different type player, but when it used to be someone like Eriksen, he used to play that game like I play a game of chess. I love playing chess. I know it don't match the personality, but I love chess, poker. When I play chess, I'm always trying to be 3 steps ahead of myself. Right, this is my move. He could do A, B, C, D. If I do that. Someone like Eriksen, he knows his shit before he's even touched the ball. And Maddison, I think you just pressed the wrong button there, Elly. And hopefully we will see you come back on here. I think you just pressed the wrong bloody button. And Maddison, Eriksen, they used to know what was coming before it comes to them. But again, they are totally different players. Totally different. But I do believe Romero slows that game down. And with the comment with the meds as well, and there we are. We have Elly back. I just think you pressed the wrong bloody button, didn't you?
I don't know what happened there.
It is what it is.
Romero's in the back as well.
Yeah.
It's called vision. It's called vision.
That's the one. That's the phrase. Yeah. Vision. I don't think his vision is fast.
Before they're going to happen. You know what anticipation as well. You anticipate what's going to happen, and you see it before any other player does. Vision. Sorry.
Exactly.
Let me turn my notifications on. Because you know when WhatsApp is on, it goes like clap, doesn't it?
That's why it drives me up the fucking wall. And that's not really a dig at Romero, but his vision isn't great for a pass because he's actually a defender. But the other side of it is he's a ball-playing defender, and he's meant to get that right pass in there to get things rolling as such. But yesterday, I think he was absolutely atrocious. I mean, absolute dog shit. I mean, I thought I would have rated that man a 1. Okay, bit better in the second half. Why he was, but that bit better don't count for nothing because it was pretty much impossible to be any worse than what he was. He was crap. I think you would have seen a better job out of Harry Maguire yesterday than you would out of Romero. He was that piss poor. You know what? He was that bad for the next game. For the next game, and I know Ian will absolutely be sitting here smirking. For the next game, do you know what? He even played that piss poor. I would just drop him and stick Archie Gray there. That is how poor I thought Romero was. I mean, how did you think he was? I mean, Elly, he was bad.
Lubo will be talking that one up, Dan.
Oh, I'm sure he already is. But
he phoned me up yesterday because I gave praise a little bit to Bergvall because he came on and got in their faces. He didn't do anything spectacular. He done a fantastic shot that hit the post, and I was just giving praise for that. And like everybody's jumping on me like I'm saying they're the best thing since sliced bread. But
I get it.
It's praise where praise is due, right? Doesn't
Yeah,
mean
I agree with that.
that you agree that the game we played well, because we didn't. We played shit. We really did.
And I don't think Bergvall did anything special. I thought he was better than I thought he was better than who was on the pitch at the time, which again for me isn't hard.
It wasn't
because
hard.
I don't think Basuma was that bad.
Made us look better.
Oh, all day long. All day long. I could go on that pitch at any time and make us look better. So, do you know what? Someone in a wheelchair could go on that pitch and make us look better, for God's sake, with 2 broken legs. And in that aspect, it's frustrating. I just thought Romero was just that bloody bad yesterday. And I thought Basuma done all right. I mean, he done a couple of good direct passes. But he was having a Benton Core, another one.
God.
Wow.
They were both passing the buck and passing sideways. And that, yes, Basuma was a bit better than Bentancur. But Bentancur, what's happened to him? I know he's not been the best player in the world or anything like that. I'm not bigging him up to be some sort of brilliant player. But he's better than what he's showing. He is. I've seen him much better.
Do you think it's actually the system, him, or do you reckon it's actually the injury that's taking him back? Because I did say to a lot of people, and a lot agreed and a lot didn't, that when you do your
ACL,
what was it you done again? Yeah, when you do your ACL, it can change your entire career.
Yeah, I just think his game. It's a passing game, Bentancur. He's good at moving the ball through the lines, isn't he? He's very good at pinpointing a path as well, and he's got good vision. But all that's gone. If you lose your ability to run, fair enough, you can make up with it. Because Teddy Sheringham couldn't run.
If you got
Harry Kane couldn't run, but they used their brain and
that's what we said earlier, Elly. They had the mentality for the game. That is why I find a lot of strikers who rely on pace or players that rely on pace, I feel their careers end quicker because they rely on that pace so much. Yeah. And it shows with Son right now, like it did with Michael Owen as well. But when you got players like Teddy Sheringham, Lewandowski ain't fast, and players like Harry Kane, they're usually very, very sharp up there because they know they have to be that sharp because they have to be 2-3 steps ahead of themselves where they haven't got the pace for it. I do find the slower players up front especially are usually the ones who read the game better as such. God, bloody hell, got an itchy nose. And I do feel they are. But, I mean, Bentancur has just gone... You could say it about most of the players, but he has just gone crap, isn't he? Over the past few games, he has been shocking.
Yeah.
Like, shockingly shocking.
You can't always blame the tactics either, because I say he's a deep line playmaker, because that's how we're playing him, but really that's not his game. He's more of an 8 than a 6. And even Basuma, he's not a 6.
Never is he a 6. Elly,
never a 6. Never. He can't do it. He's not disciplined enough for start. He hasn't got the legs as well. Yeah.
Bentancur, I know it's a total different game in Italy, but he was actually a DM. But it was a DM/deep line playmaker. And if I remember right, he did actually play quite a lot alongside Ramsey, if I remember correctly. And
Aaron Ramsey,
from Arsenal. But the game itself in Italy is significantly slower and more tactical, I would say. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it speeds up for a split second with a counter direct attack a lot of the time. And that's the football that I personally like. Whereas I know other people, I'm not going to go into this one, but that is why with my tactics, I would pick Harry Kane over Thierry Henry because he just fits my system better. But I'm not going to go into that one because I haven't got the man to debate with.
Dan, a very good point is tactically, Postecoglou tells them to move the ball quickly. One touch, move, pass and move, right? Bentancur don't like that. He's a cultured player. He likes to think about things. He likes to get on the ball. He hates doing these one quick passes. because any player in that system, their passing could really get bad because you're not used to it. And when I see them in training, they don't train under pressure, right? So a lot of, like Bournemouth, they're the best pressing team in the league, and they put us under a lot of pressure. And our passing was worse than usual because they did that. They pressed us, and all the passing wasn't. It was really, really bad, so bad, right? And Bentancur's not that type of player. He's a thoughtful player, you know. And I just think he's lost in that system.
The one thing he always had as a problem, and this is what they used to complain about him at Juventus, is literally every game without fail, he has a moment. Yes. And sometimes it's a moment that can cost you a game because
true.
He's a bit of a drifter, and what I mean by that is he can sit there and all of a sudden just, oh shit, what's going on? And he does do that nearly every game, at least once or twice. And sometimes he does it in a position where it really screws us up. And he used to do that at Juventus quite a lot, and that's what they used to complain about. But he was a much more solid player because he was played to his standards. Same as I say with Bissouma. Bissouma is being played the wrong way. No, his mentality don't look good, but I think he's also been run into the ground with this poxy Ange system. He is not a box-to-box DM. He is more of a box-to-box ball winner, directly forward with the ball, charge with it, and then get the direct ball to, say, Maddison, Son, or, God forbid I say it, Johnson, or whoever's in front of him. But we literally use him as a box-to-box DM when we don't play at the bloody defensive midfielder, who then has to come back, cover the left, cover the right, where they're both fucking inverted, and come back and also try and help the defence. I'm sorry, he's not a robot. Bissouma is a better player than this. When he used to play at Brighton, he destroyed us 2 or 3 times, took Arsenal to pieces, took Liverpool to pieces. Man City had the shocker and a half off him. So did a lot of other teams. And Liverpool was willing to pay up to 70 million for him. And Brighton at the time wanted 85.
Yeah.
Again, do you think Bissouma is another player? Because when we started off those first 10, 15 games, he was playing box-to-box, get forward, not box-to-box, get back.
Yeah.
And do you think it's actually that Bentancur just ain't good enough or got the mentality? Or do you...
No, I think
Bissouma. Or do you just think that the system has actually cooked Bissouma like it has a few other players?
Yeah, he's played him in the completely wrong completely wrong position, and the system doesn't suit him because he's not one of these players who's going to run his butt off for you. He's not. He's one of the. He's more like Bentancur. He's quite a cultured player. Likes to put his foot on the ball, think about it, you know. But now he's being asked to pass one time. You see, he gets the ball. He has to pass it. He either passes it short or passes it to the side. Where he's a player who likes to drive with the ball. He'll pick it up. He'll get in people's faces.
Exactly.
Win the ball back for you, right? And he's being played totally different. He's right at the back. He can't affect the game like that.
Right.
And people are coming into his space as well. Like Sarr, he was like all over the place. He doesn't know where he's going, Sarr. So he gets in Bissouma's way as well. Right, and there's no room for creativity from the midfield.
You're totally right what you're saying. I mean, he's not even a creative player, but you're 100% right on what you said. His game is drop a little bit deep, win that ball, or get in the middle of a tackle, win the ball, and then charge forward with it. And then just either a short or direct ball to whatever man,
not to do it.
And come back on yourself.
You can see it, and
exactly
deliberately told every player not to do that, to pass it short, to pass it one touch.
Even down to the keeper.
It's not working, man. It's not working.
So do you think it's actually system? If we got in, well, some of us do. Do you think a different? See, look, with a question here off of Sam Smith now. Big up to you, mate. Dan, would you sell Porro and Udogie and bring in a manager that plays a back 4, or bring in a manager that plays a back 3 and keep Porro and Udogie? Now, this one, mate, comes down to tactics again on what a personal person Likes basically, prefers. Now, me, I like playing like what some would call a 5-2-2-1 or a 5-2-1-2. But that's because the wing backs make it sound 5 at the back. But some would call it a 3-5-1-2 or 3-3 at the back. I would play 3 solid defenders at the back. Solid defender in the middle, 2 ball winners, ball playing defenders either side, 2 wing backs, and from there, basically. That is how I would personally play. And this team is just so much more suited to it. I called it about bloody 17 months ago. Got told I was crazy by quite a few people, and a couple of people stuck up for me. And it is just blatantly obvious. This team is made to use overlapping wing backs. So Adoji, when I watched him in Italy, was significantly better. And he's young, and he was younger. But what he used to do was charge up the flank with a ball and then put a direct ball across. No, he's not a crosser. Sometimes they cut in with a ball, but there's a difference between cutting in with a ball when you're up there to drifting into a 10 when you're down at the bloody bottom. And Porro, again, for me, when I look at Elly, when I look at Porro, yeah, now I'm going to relate to a style, obviously not the skill. For me, he's a poor man's Bale. And what I mean by that is Bale could play as a wing back. He weren't a right back, but some will say right back, same as Porro. No, he's a wing back.
Yeah.
But we got the best out of Bale when Harry Redknapp actually realised, your tackling ain't great, because Bale's tackling was not great either. We will get the most out of you up there, getting that ball in midfield, charging up with it as such, and crossing that ball in there. Even if we just played him as an actual wing back to overlap, you would see significant better out of him. But I would rather play Porro if I'm playing Ange's system of a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever you want to call the bloody thing, or or a 2-2-10, or whatever you want to call the fucking thing. I would personally prefer Porro on a wing.
Yeah.
Or I would at least play it if I was to keep it, and with the formation I've said, I would keep him and use him and obviously swapping them around and everything with an overlapping wing back without a doubt. But on a 4-2-3-1, I would quite happily use him as my winger. I mean, Elly, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree with you, because
and selling a Doji and Porro as well, if this is what has been asked anyway.
The system makes him look a lot worse as a defender, because he's asked to bomb forward, and then there's that big gap behind him, and he's not the quickest.
He inverts.
Back. Plus, he's knackered because of all the runs that he has to do, right? And the engine goes. However good you are at running, if you're doing what Ange is asking you to do, your engine runs out. So he's making him look worse than what he actually is defensively. But attacking wise, he's our best attacker, I'd say. Right? He's got prowess. He knows when to pass the ball. He's got a good pass on him. He's got a good cross on him. Yeah. So why are we playing?
He takes a good free kick.
Yes, he's got a good shot as well. Because when you're tired as well, Dan, your shooting is off as well. Because when you're fresh, and if he's just concentrating on attack and gets a proper right back who can defend, like you said, 3 solid, 1 centre back, 2 either side, and 2 wing backs, we can play him as a proper wing back. Yeah. Well, obviously he's got to help track back, but it won't be his biggest responsibility.
No.
His biggest responsibility is to create and make us score goals.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you want your wing back to overlap and cross the bloody ball in. How can he cross the bloody ball in when he's pushed into a number 10, basically? And then he gets him, in Maddison's way as well, or whoever's playing there at the same time, and it gets packed up there. So would you sell them too or keep them?
I'd keep Porro. I would sell Udogie.
Yeah.
And play Spence on the left, because Spence is really good on the left. I think he's better on the left than on the right, what I've seen. Yeah. And
for the style of play, I agree.
He's better defensively as well. You
I
see
think
that
he's
ball
double the
Spence
defender
done?
that both of them are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that ball Spence played was brilliant. You know,
I
the
mean,
one where he
we was
cut the
all
defence in half and Odegaard
yes.
muffed it.
He's very good at
Odegaard
getting
muffed
up there and crossing it and getting inverted when he gets up there. I've got no problem with that. I just don't want my man inverting from the second he starts running fucking diagonally across the pitch.
I feel sorry for Porro because he's making him look shit.
Like a lot of players. Like he's doing with a lot of players, and also wrecking careers with the way he expects them to play, like Van der Ven, the poor man. I mean, his hamstrings must feel like absolute Weetabix now. And I don't feel we play Porro to his advantages as such. But I think what's happened with Spence, let's go to Spence here, I think we have actually found a good player. Now, I'm not going to say he's quality, but he has been our best player for the past, easily majority of the past 10 games, whatever.
He's got a lot of nice points.
But I'm sure you, along with 99.9% of people on the chat and other Spurs supporters, would have said, sell him, will ya? Just get rid of him, because we didn't see him. And then where he hasn't been played by about 3-4 managers, there's got to be a reason to it. There has to be, And maybe it was his mentality. Maybe he's actually grown up a bit. I don't know, But I think we've actually got quite a universal player there. And what I mean by that is, I think you can stick him on the left, stick him on the right. You'll see different attributes out of him on the left, different on the right. But one thing my man can do is defend twice as good as... Because when you put him out on the right, did you notice it yesterday in the last 8 minutes, whatever, the ball comes flying down there. He got the ball, took it round his man, got rid of the ball. When in doubt, get it out.
Yeah.
And he's got the capability to do it, and he's much better at defending. But he can also play left or right midfield. Or you could also, which I don't think would be his best position, but I still think you could also play him as a attacking midfield left or right as well, with more of a inverted as it goes up there. I wouldn't quite say inside forward, but either way, I reckon you can play him left or right all the way up the flanks from the back to the front, basically.
Yeah.
Call it opinion.
No, your opinion's your opinion, but I think he's got a lot of nice attributes to his game. And I think with the question you asked about his mentality, do you know what? He strikes me when I see him, right? Even when he was injured and he was on the bench, right? Or he wasn't getting a game and he was on. He strikes me as a very laid back, cool sort of dude. And I think people misunderstand him. I think they take that laid back attitude is that he's going to go on the pitch and he's not going to give his all, and maybe in training he was a bit like, because the way he dresses and the way he comes in, he's a very cool dude.
What's that got to do with the time of day?
It's got nothing to do with it, but you can see Conte is quite old school, right?
There's no two-way about it. Conte is another Ange to an extent, very set in his way. And the way Conte played, I will say the same that I said with Ange, it just did not suit those players that we had at the time as such. But he still managed to drag us to a 4, and how he managed to do that, it's one of the...
David Dyer and flipping Sanchez.
Exactly.
Getting back to Jed Spence when Conte was there, people were saying he was a club signing because Levy went and done the deal.
Which I easily believe.
Conte's a stubborn old git. He probably thought, I didn't want him. I'm not playing him to, because he's quite a bloke who thinks, right, this is my way, this is my players, I'm choosing the players, not you. So he's getting
similarities to Ange, innit? Similarities to Ange, except Conte's style can work, and he can adapt as well when needed. I mean, he did it at Chelsea. He did change it with us a few times, but with the team he bloody had with us, you did need 8 men behind the ball, basically, because it was significantly worse than what we got now. But with Spence, I think with Spence, there might have been a mentality issue there where he was maybe just... He hadn't grown up enough as such, mentally. Like I say, with some players, they physically got what you need on that pitch, but they ain't mentally got it yet. They ain't grown up enough. Or you get some of the younger players, I can't stand it when they calling them kids when they're like 23 and 25. You're like, well, mate, if you're 18 and old enough to go out and get pissed, get laid, and do this, then you know. And
they've been playing football all their lives. It's not like they just stepped on the pitch at 19.
I get they ain't got the experience.
7
Yeah,
and 8.
I get
and
they ain't got the experience.
In the academies.
But I do think he didn't have the right mentality for it as such at the time. And I do think he's actually worked quite hard to get where he is. And on the ball, from the games I have seen, I'm trying not to big him up too much, but I'm just trying to look at this in a positive way as well. He does seem quite skillful. Again, people look on skills on different ways. I've had this debates with people before. Again, different eyes, different football. Yeah, he does seem quite skillful, and he does seem very cool, calm, and calculated.
Yeah, I agree. It's very calm.
I think we've actually, I think we might actually have ourselves, I ain't saying a special player, but I think we might have ourselves a good player there.
We've got a rough diamond. You still got to polish the edges a bit, yeah. But we've got a rough diamond, and the boy, he
needs more ball time, doesn't he? He needs more game time.
Yes. Well, we saw it at Forest. It's not as if he didn't do it in the Championship. That was in the Championship, and then he schooled Arsenal, and everybody was raving about the boy. And then he comes to us, and he's not played, and everybody's baffled because Porro weren't playing particularly well either.
That's why we said get rid of him, wasn't it, at the start? And literally 99.9 were saying it. And
my brother wasn't, though. My brother Boo, he said, nah, we've got to give this boy a chance. But he wasn't getting the chance. And then when he does get his chance, the difference between Conte and Ange, Conte said it straight. He said, look, you know, he made it straight that it wasn't his signing.
He ain't my boy. I ain't picking him.
Yeah. Whereas Ange is making up all this sort of shit about, oh, yeah, I was going to play him, you know. He's making all these stories up.
I've had to hold him till he's ready and that, innit? And you're like, Ange, shut up, mate. You're chatting crap, innit? You're chatting crap. Yeah, bullshit, mate. Get back inside your cupboard. That is absolutely... and that...
That's what I like coming on with you, Dan. Fucking brilliant.
And that is in the aspect of, if you thought anything of Spence, you wouldn't have left him out of that Europa team.
That's right. Why would you do that?
That was the one I just did not get.
His confidence, man.
Yeah, but that is the bit I just did not get. Even if you didn't intend to use him, he's still a player on there. We have been playing Archie Gray as the bloody right back when he ain't a right back and centre back, which I think he's done an okay job, yeah. And considering the situation he's in, I think he's done a respectful job. But I don't think he's been good in that position as such. But for the situation, I think he has been good, if that makes any sense. And so why the hell was we using and also not swapping the players about a bloody centre mid as a right back when he had Spence the whole time? Spence only got game time because there was basically no other options. Archie Gray's only got significant game time because of the injuries. Same as Bergvall. Yeah, Ange tries to big it up. It was all him, doesn't it? So with Spence overall, do you agree with what I'm saying? Like, we might actually have ourselves, I'm not saying no world-class thing or nothing like that, but I think we've actually got quite a good player there.
Yeah. Do you know what it is with Spence, right? Because we see all the other players underperforming and they're playing tactically, they're playing in a system that's not suited to them. Like square pegs in round holes. I've heard that saying a lot. That is bloody true, right? And we're grasping on to Spence because he's showing something. He's got something, the boy, right? And I do it with Bergvall as well because I see a player in him, right? And I see that he's fighting to get that position his, because he's probably sitting on the bench yesterday and thinking, I can do better than them. And he came on and he put himself about, right? And he got in their faces. But he's not ready yet. That's one thing. He's not ready for the Premiership now. I think what we should do, a lot of people say...
Who's that with, sorry?
Is that Bergvall? I think he's not quite ready yet. I think we should loan him out, get him more experience, because he's not going to get the experience under Ange. Like you see, as soon as the players get
I
back,
don't know, Elly. Sorry to interrupt you there. I might disagree with that because there has been several times, like yesterday and that, where we've had a full defence to pick, and he does pick Bergvall. I know he didn't start him yesterday, but he has started him a lot, even when we've had a choice of 3 or 4 there.
Yeah, he started them in. Maybe you're right, but I think with Bergvall, I think he needs more game time, regular game time, to develop him more, right? And I think if he goes to either one of the lesser teams below us or goes to a championship team to get more game time, because I don't think Ange is quite sure about him in terms of the other players. Look, Bentancur's been playing rubbish, and he's still getting a place ahead of him.
He's been playing shit.
He has been playing shit. Rubbish.
I mean, in the other aspects, I mean, just keep talking about Archie Gray. I'm to the point that when I hear his name mentioned, even when I say it myself, bang, please do it. But it's part of the system, isn't it? And Matt, is it really just me, or is 2-2 against high-flying Bournemouth not that bad? I don't think I haven't seen anyone say it was a bad result. At the end of the day, it was a good result. But it's the way we got the result, mate. It was nothing but luck. And it's the way we got opened up on the goals. But the point's the point, and we did get a 2-2. And I was happy with a 2-2. But the way we played was absolute shit. And we got it out of a penalty and out of just out of one of the worst crosses ever that just ended up in the back of the net, basically.
You can tell he didn't mean it, because when they flashed onto his face, he was like surprised, and he didn't want to celebrate it, did he?
Yeah.
He didn't celebrate it. He just stood there like bemused.
I mean, I think it's like he was like, oh my God, I've screwed that up. Oh my, that. Yeah.
Previous to that,
everyone knew that was a fluke, blatant fluke.
It was.
And this is what we're saying, Matt. It took a fucking fluke and a penalty, which Son done very good on getting, for us to get back into the game. But being 2-0 down and getting it back to a 2-2, especially against Bournemouth, is a good result. But again, it's the way we played. And I mean, I don't want to go too much on it, because otherwise I'll end up headbutting the bloody screen. Archie Gray, what has my man got to do to start in that centre mid?
I know, it's just ridiculous.
What has he actually got to do?
I know, Lubo must be screwing.
He usually is.
I know, because he phoned me up yesterday. We were having a good old banter, right? And I just can't believe that he can't get into that midfield. Is he that bad in midfield? He's playing him in a position that he's played before at Leeds. Don't get me wrong, but that isn't his position. His position is defensive midfield, CDM. And it makes me sick to my core that he doesn't give him a chance over the. If the players were performing well and he doesn't get in, fair dues, but they're not. So give the boy a crack.
And the other point is, some say, yeah, but he might be too young for Ange. He might be too young when he plays him at right back, centre back, and he obviously plays Bergvall up there.
Yeah.
So is it that Ange just don't look at him as a good enough centre mid? We paid 40 million for that boy, basically.
Is Ange a good judge? Do you rate him as a good judge?
I would not say so. But if he's willing to play Bergvall there, then for me, the age has got nothing to do with it. And so is Archie Gray good enough to go as a set? We just don't know.
We haven't seen him there.
I think he's played there for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, when we had to move him there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
And that is where I do question, like, why the hell did we buy this boy? Why?
I know.
When we could have got a 40 million more established player. But that's just going on to all the Archie Gray bullshit that we've argued black is white about. He's not our worst signing. He's not our worst signing. No, of course not. But I
worse
just don't
signings than
get.
him.
I just don't get why we got him.
I know. It
When
just
when Benton
beggars
Core is
belief.
playing that shit and Papa Sarr's been playing, when it's all been, and he just still can't get on now.
They all look 100 times worse.
Well,
Don't they?
it's
Like, because they're
it's
asked
like
to
what
pass
Spence.
quickly and they
Yeah,
can't do it.
it does not suit their style of play. They
I
don't.
know.
He don't get it in sync. And that's just the phrase I use for it. I mean, it's like Spence must have been thinking, what the fucking hell have I got to do to get some game time here? When this boy who's come in, he's only just played his first couple of Champions League, Premier League games as such at the time, and he's playing in my position.
I know.
And then the one that really done me, Elly, is we go and leave Spence out. And loads of Ange lovers come up with, oh, yeah, but we had Europa next game. And Dan, you've even said, forget the league. The Europa Cup is the one. I totally agree. But there was an 8-day difference, for God's sake.
I know.
But Ange said he was saving him. Other players said he was saving him. But now he's just gone and played him. When it ain't too long that we got the AZ, is it?
I know. There's so many things.
I mean, when is that game? When have we got that? It's Thursday, isn't it? Is it Thursday we've got that game? Or is it?
I know. On Thursday, yeah.
It is Thursday, isn't it?
At
8 o'clock.
Yeah. There's so many things, right? And it all boils down to Ange. Look, he's left out Werner out of the Europa League now, hasn't he? He's dropped him from the Europa squad, I believe. That's correct, isn't it? Werner.
Yeah.
Right. Thank God, yeah. But then he berates him against. You put him on the first team squad, right, against Rangers. And then he berates him in front of all the press. And then he doesn't get a look in, which is fair enough because he's been playing shit as well. No shitter than any other player. But
yeah, but he's shit. He's crap.
He's total crap, right? And then he doesn't put him in the Europa. Yet we had the nonce to sign him twice. How ridiculous is our club?
Exactly. And I now, me personally, if I was a manager, I would make digs at the players on and off the pitch. I would not stand there and take crap for a player making a complete fuck up of a situation, basically, yeah? But when you can see that the majority of such a bloody itchy nose, you know, we just got that hair there and you want to rip it out, but yeah. And yeah, and when you can see that the players are making mistakes, mainly because it does usually come to a mistake off a player a lot of the time, yeah. But it's doing that because they're being played out of position, basically, or they're being played to play away that they just don't play. And it is just, some of it is just frustrating. I mean, like, for me, Werner on the ball is not bad. I think he's probably our best player at getting forward with the ball now.
Control the ball, that's one.
But can he pass?
The ball, he's not like Odegaard or
can he shoot? Can he cross? Can he do anything except run with the ball? I mean, how the man's even got a pair of legs when he crosses the ball, I don't know. No, it's not even the football IQ, it's the ability. You might as well, I mean, when he crosses or passes that ball, you might as well put spaghetti on his fucking legs, for God's sake. He's shockingly bad. But
I know.
Ange picked him out and had to dig at him that time. But he hasn't made a dig at the other players, and you think, well, hang on a second, mate. You signed him twice.
I know.
And with that game that he said it, I thought we was all again. I thought the whole team was shit, and I thought he picked on Werner on there. But I do want, I do. Oh, please do get rid of Werner.
Signing him once was bad enough, but signing him twice is unforgivable.
Well, the first time we got him, I could understand why we got him because he's a poor man's son.
In 2 seasons at Chelsea, 10 goals only.
Yeah. But he's a poor man's son. Yeah, he's a poor man's son. And I could see why we got him just for that. But to go and do it again.
I know.
I mean, you must have dickhead written across your head.
There was many better players than Werner to get.
Oh, yeah, they could have come and signed me. Right, so next one I go to, it's definitely looking like we're happy we got him back. And that's Vicario.
Yeah. He's been really good since he's come back. with his kicking, not so good. But they're putting him under pressure.
Has it ever been?
He's never really been that brilliant, but he's shown a little bit more. I think the nerves and the way the players pass back to him, and then they don't move into position so he can pick out a pass. So when he started hoofing it long, the whole stadium went, I was doing the same at home, Dan.
Yeah. I mean, not one of our goalkeepers we've had looks confident on the ball to play a proper sweeper keeper position as such. Like the way they're told to play is a defensive sweeper keeper, and that's the one who sits back more. And then you've got a support sweeper keeper who comes out that much forward, and then you've got one like Manuel Neuer, who used to literally go up to the halfway line because he was that confident. And
what a keeper!
It just what we get that goalkeeper to do, that poor fella, is to take more chances with passes in front of our own bloody goal than our strikers than our forwards make in front of their goal. We take more chances. Whereas up front, we don't seem to want to make the pass unless there's a 70% chance it goes through. Whereas at the back, we take the bloody short ball when there's 3 people coming at us.
Yeah, and also, right?
It don't make sense to me.
If you're going to play the system where you're going to pass short and play out of defence, drill the goalie, work on him so he gets better at it. He's gone backwards. You'd think you'd see an improvement, that they'd be working on him over that. You could see a slight improvement where he's commanding his box a little bit better and he's coming out and catching the ball rather than punching it. But foreign goalies, they tend to punch, don't they? That's what they're taught, right? But you can see he's got a bit of improvement. Even at corners yesterday, bit of improvement. But with the kicking, oh my God, it was atrocious. And he nearly got caught out by Evan Nielsen. He just about got it to our player, just about 1 second longer, and that would have been a goal like.
And another one happened with Spence as well, where he gave Spence a proper lane pass, and Spence, when he was on the right, managed to clock it, spin round, and go up with it. Whereas if that would have been Porro, would have been FUKD.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think Vicario is a very good goalkeeper. Everyone, bar one person, 2 people, sorry, went off there a complete nut about him, except me, and I think it was Ben, because he likes the Italian football as well, where I'd actually seen him play that season.
Yeah.
As a shot stopper, I think he's one of the best.
Brilliant.
His reflexes and his reach is excellent.
So agile.
Yeah.
His agility
but
is second to none.
I think he's one of those players, or goalkeeper, I say specifically, that what he's good at, he's bloody good at it. But what he's poor at, he's very poor at it. I don't think there's no in between with him. When it comes out coming to catch a cross, when it comes out to catch a cross or whatever, it's not his strongest point, is it? And the way he gets pushed apart on corners, which don't happen so much now, only took Ange about 6 to 9 months to work out what the issue was. And he's just not good on that aspect. And with the ball on his feet, he definitely ain't good at that one either. But when it comes to being a goalkeeper, catching the ball, diverting the ball, I mean, the way he can get, I've even seen him go in that way and then manage to get down to the corner in that way. When you're a goalkeeper, that's one of the hardest things to go, because the momentum is taking you that way. And I've played in goal. And then with the momentum taking you that way, to get back and dive the other way, that ain't easy. And I think Vicario is a good goalkeeper. I just think if you relate him to other keepers, like people have done with Raya, I would say Raya is a more complete goalkeeper, because he's got his things he's not good at, but they're not shockingly bad. Whereas I think Vicario, he's very good at certain things, and other things he's poor. That man saved our ass yesterday in that first half, didn't he?
He did.
Literally, quite literally, saved our ass.
Brilliant. 3 fantastic saves, 1-on-1 with 2 of them. And like the other one, that was a brilliant shot that he got down to, and he was going the other way. And like you said, he adjusted his feet and he was agile enough to get his hand round the post. brilliant save. We were
Yeah.
lucky. We were lucky he was on
He
form.
is so good at getting to the floor, basically. And again,
Yeah,
that's a very hard one to do. That's why a lot of people who take a penalty try and roll it into the left or right bottom corner, because
Yeah.
that is one of the hardest ones to do. It's actually easier to jump in the air or sideways than it is to jump down.
very true.
You know, I think
know
most
what? He's
people
very
know that
thin.
anyway.
You know, I've seen him close up, right? Because where I've been in the south stand and I'm right near him, because I'm right just behind the goal, to the right of the goal I stand, right? And he's so slim, right? He's very, very slim. His hips are like, they're so
He looks
tiny,
a bit.
right?
What you mean? He's a bit
Yeah.
like a lamppost sort of thing.
Yeah, he's like a lamppost and he's 6'4". So people don't even realise that he's 6'4", right? But
I've seen people like that.
probably
My
the
mate
most
was six.
agile keeper in the league.
My mate was 6'10" and
Wow.
as skinny as that,
That is
and
cool.
that was when we were 16. Well, I say my mate, we ain't
Wow.
mates anymore, but
Like Peter
either
Crouch.
way. But
Crouchy.
yeah,
Like
and some. But I do think Vicario is a good keeper, and I think it shows how much we missed him, because I do think we
Yeah.
did. I think the other keepers that came in done a respectable job. I mean, Fraser Forster, till he had that absolute stinker, I thought actually played shockingly good for us. I was actually quite pleasantly surprised as such.
Yeah.
But with that one, you do agree that Vicario for us was possibly
He was the best player on the pitch.
our best player on the pitch, I would
Yeah.
say, because we'll go through the players in a minute and give them a rating and that. I mean,
Him-
you're not in a
him and
rush, are you?
Spence played well. I think I think go. We'll start from where you start from the goalie.
And just want to say big up to Rob Frank. Thanks a lot, mate, for becoming a member. I get why people don't really become members on here because I'm too erratic on it and not consistent enough. I'm going to try to be more consistent, but not doing these 5 to 6 hour things and that. The reason I've done it that long with Sabah on there is purely because it was a charity thing, and I do it to myself at times. When I do too much of this, it then causes other things to happen, and I just have to take things off for a medical reason. So that is appreciated, mate. Thank you very much. So then, come on, Elly. I wasn't really going to go through this yet, but since I now have a partner,
partner in crime.
oh yes. Oh yes. Well, it's not going to be being nice, is it? Because that's not.
No.
I mean, that's what I tell people. Yeah. When
That's
people
true.
make comments at me and whatever, and I'm not saying you are this person. Yeah. When people say you're just being a bit of a prick, I'm like, please don't insult me. I am not a prick. I'm a fucking prick, and I know it because that is where the fun is. But each to their own at the end of the day. Whatever turns you on, and I like to. Exactly, and I like to have a sense of humour.
But I'm sort of sarcastically funny in the chat.
Exactly.
Always put a smiley emoji on as well.
Yeah,
So
but it's always fun. It's always fun. It's always fun
Yeah.
to wind a few people up. I mean,
like
my wife.
Saver up.
I mean, my wife tells me. My wife tells me that since she's known me, I've been like a world-class instigator, basically, at just winding up people on the moon. But that's just a different thing.
Wind up merchant as well. So
I think we all are in our own way.
Was that? Last night was the killer, wasn't it?
Elly, let's just not go there. Just leave it out. Just
no.
Just don't go there.
What happens in WhatsApp stays in WhatsApp.
Exactly. Just leave it at that. It's like I've got the attitude: what happens on the pitch stays on the pitch, and that.
Yeah.
So just forget about last night. So Vicario, I mean, I think it was 30 seconds.
About 30, 40 seconds into the match.
Elly, cover me for about 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, of course. Like, while Dan's going to do his nasal hair, I thought Vicario played very, very well. He pulled out the stops with those 3 brilliant
thank God for that.
He made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant. You know, and he apart from his kicking, I would have given him a 9 out of 10 if it wasn't for his kicking.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give him an 8.
I
mean, he had to make a solid save in the first 30 seconds, and then in the 4th minute, then in the 5th minute, and then again.
I think.
I mean, but he did do some poor passing out. But as an out-and-out keeper, I will give him an 8 because I do think he was our man of the match.
100%.
So then we go to Mr. Porro. I mean, that was a terrible. It was a bad pass to Johnson, but I blame Johnson more for that. And it's not just out of disliking him as a player that much. It's just out of the fact that the ball actually got to Johnson and it just totally rebounded off him. Porro, I think, got a bit too much stick for that because he did try coming back for it. Whereas Johnson Elly just stayed up there like he does, like he can't be bothered, like a bloody ghost. And Porro did try coming back, but he was only doing what he was told to, and that's being inverted. How can my man get down there when the other player's got 60 yards to go down? Unless you are Van der Ven, you ain't doing that shit. But Porro had a shocking game.
Yeah, he did. And I'd say the pass that he did to Johnson, it was slightly to his left, but it was still achievable to control it and get on the front foot. Yeah, but Johnson's not that player, is he? But yeah, Porro, he's got the appropriate name, Porro, because he was so poor, unbelievably poor, defensively and going forward, really. Because normally going forward, he's decent, he's really, really good. But I'll give him a 4. And I'm being generous. I'm being generous.
Do you know what? I give him that. It's just, I think it just goes back to the same thing over and over again of he is just playing out of position, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. Just because he's in his position, like I had debate last night with Basuma being played centre mid sort of thing, it doesn't mean you're actually being played in your position. Well, position may be, but you're not playing to your tactics necessarily. And that is the main part of it. And that's what I keep saying by getting it in sync, basically. He is another one that just blatantly, like we have agreed, just the system ain't working for him. And but at the end of the day, he was shocking. And for me, I'll give him a 3. I thought he was that shit. Now, Romero, who we go to, we've already said. I mean, I feel Romero gets the extra stick because he is considered this World Cup winner and whatever else, yeah? But that's what happens to you when you get considered a very good player. Same as Son gets excess stick for where he has been that good. When a player's been that average and he has a bit of a poorer game, people still actually praise him because he's an average player and he's looked better than what he was being bang average. Whereas when you're considered to be up there, you will get more shit than someone who is considered an okay player, which I think is okay. For me, Romero, he gets a 1. And I'm being nice.
Yeah.
I thought he was absolutely terrible. I'm going to go into it deep again. I thought he was shit.
Yeah. And like, I saw Ange in his presser giving him praise because he got his bloody head to a ball on the corners. That's what his job is to do, to get your head on the ball and try and score, right? But yeah, I agree with you, Dan. I'll give him a 1 as well because he was absolutely shocking.
I mean, some say it's because he's coming back from injury and that. Yeah, okay, maybe it's because he's coming back from injury, conveniently just before he plays for Argentina. But with that, I don't care. He still played shit. Yeah. I'm not going to go and judge him as a 5 or a 7 and that because he was playing after an injury. He was shit. And that's all there is to it. Like it or lump it. Same as I will say, if there is a 19-year-old on the ball, okay, I will cut him some slack in the aspect of experience. But if a 18, 19-year-old kid, like people say, or a 23-year-old kid, like some people say, I mean, 23, you're not a bloody kid, does something wrong through lack of experience, I get it. But if they come on and they play shit, I will rate them as the other players and say they play bad and give them a 2 or a 3. Because if you are good enough to be on that pitch, I judge you as the rest of the team, apart from some mistakes with experience. But I'm going for a 1 with Romero. What about yourself? Do we agree on that one? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
100%.
Kevin Danzo, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for me, I'm liking the
I
more
like
and more I see of this player.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's not special.
Hmm.
He's not, I don't want to say he's not good. He's a very old school goalkeeper. Goalkeeper. He's a very old school defender to me. He's not particularly special at nothing, not particularly great at nothing, but you can see he's cool, calm, calculated. He reads the ball quite well. He's strong enough on the ball. I think his marking's good. I think his defending is good. Like he's tackling, and he also knows when to tackle and when to just keep the man from doing something. Again, I don't think he's actually special at any of it, but I think he's got a bit of all of it, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's a very plain Jane, simple player. And I like to have those players in some positions in my team. Like I would want a DM. I don't want him doing all this super shit or charging up the other end of the pitch and trying to do Madison passes and this and that. I would play my DM as basically an anchor man, not far from it. And I just want him to be good at his job. And I think Danzo is. I think he actually had a respectable game. I mean, he made a good couple of tackles on there. He also blocked it a couple of times on there. And I think he definitely looked like the fittest centre-back on there. I think at the end of the game, he looked a bit knackered. But I think he done a very good job yesterday. Not necessarily in the tackles, because he didn't make that many. But getting in the middle of the ball and just getting rid of it. For me, he's a centre-back. He's not a ball-playing defender. Not like Van der Ven, not like Romero, get the ball, go forward with it. I look on him as more of an old school John Terry, Rio Ferdinand. But obviously, I'm not saying he's as good as them, but they're old school centre backs. Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, like a Ledley King.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, so what would you say about Danzo?
I'll
I'm quite happy with him.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades, master of none. I'll give you that. But I think I'm going to give him a little bit more credit for bringing the ball out, because when I've seen him against Alkmaar and yesterday as well, he brought the ball out really well, and he beat two players as well. So he can play a bit, but it's true what you say. He's that old school defender who loves to defend, and I think he's been pretty good for us.
He does his job.
I mean, he does his job. He's not the brilliant player, but he does his job and he knows how to defend.
But he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
I think as a player as such, on the mentality side, I relate him to a Ben Davies. Now, I think Ben Davies gets excess stick, but he shouldn't even be at the bloody club. I totally understand that. I don't think he's as poor as a lot of people reckon, but we should have a better option of a bloody centre-back or a left-back to cover us.
He is a better option.
On the mentality side, I think he's sort of like a Ben Davies, just very plain, Jane, simple. Don't fuck about with it quite as much. Don't do nothing particularly special, and does his job. And it's not an insult to the man saying he's plain Jane and simple. That's what I want my defender to do.
Yeah,
that is what I want him to do. I don't want my defender to try doing overhead kicks while he's trying to clear the ball and shit like that. I just want him to do his job. Yeah. And personally, 20 million, I would buy him.
Yeah.
I don't want him as a replace for Romero, because I want us to go further than that. But he's definitely one. If I play a back three, I will quite happily have him as my centre back in the middle, who basically plays as a centre back and nothing more, nothing less. Yeah. But even if we stay with four at the back, if I'm going to be honest, I would rather start him over Romero again, because he's more cool, more calm, less erratic. Even though Romero is a much better player than him overall, yeah. Romero's head's gone anyway. He don't want to be here, and you can see that a mile off. And he's going to be baked potato at the end of the season. But I just do think Danzo is a very cool, calm. Just keep it easy.
Cool, calm.
Wipe his ball about. But he's also got the knowledge of the game. When in doubt, kick it out. I mean, so I've gone through all that and I've rattled on a bit with it and that. So how would you describe Danzo, and how would you say he played yesterday?
Yeah,
I've said my 5-minute bit.
Brain. Like you said, he's not frills and spills. He just does his job, gets stuck in, knows when to back off, knows when to make a tackle. he's an old school defender, and I like it. I like that type of player. Like he'll do a job for you, and he won't let you down. And what I've seen of him so far, I like. So I'm going to give him a solid 7. I wouldn't give him an 8 because he wasn't an 8. I'll give him a solid 7 because he just done his job like he always does, and I like him. I think he's a decent player.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll go with exactly what you said. I'll give him a 7 as well.
We need better. We need better long term.
Overall, yes.
It'll be good. It'll be good to come off the bench if we need him.
And I think
he's not going to get a look in, is he?
And I think he'll be very good. I think he'll be very good for I forgot the bloody word now. Revolving the player. What's the fucking word?
Yeah, rotation.
Rotation. I think he'll be a very good player to use as rotation, not just come on as a sub, but start against other teams as well. Because I think he's actually probably, by the look of him and what he's done, being quite plain Jane and simple, I think he's also our most physical defender. And what I mean by that is he actually looks like he's got a physicality to him. Whereas Van der Ven he's not exactly hench. He might have a 6-pack, whatever, but he's not exactly hench, and neither is Romero. I'd say Romero is definitely the more.
He looks like he's been to Chick King a few times and a steakhouse a few times.
But he doesn't look
Danzo.
But he doesn't look unfit either. Right. And I agree. Yeah, I would give him a 7. So we go to Jed Spence. I'll let you go first on that one.
Yeah, with Jed Spence, I thought he had a decent game. It wasn't his best game, right? But he's moved from side to side, so he had to adjust. But the one ball that he did play to Odebear, who muffed it, was sublime. It was brilliant vision as well. And when he came out with the ball, his best football is he's really good defensively, don't get me wrong, but his best football is when he's running at the defender because he's thinking ahead. Like you said, he's got a picture because he's got vision, the boy. Yeah?
I think he has. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I think he played okay. Nothing special for his standards, what I've seen. But I thought that ball, just for that ball, I'm going to give him a 7 because it was a brilliant ball. Yeah. And he split their defence in half.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I think he was good enough going forward. Definitely not as good as I've seen him. I thought his defending was significantly better, especially in the last 10 minutes when he went over to the right-hand side and sorted out a bit of shit there, which I think if Porro would have been there, would have been in trouble. But by the way he has played, I will give him a 6, just because it wasn't one of his better games, but he wasn't bad.
Yeah, I'll get you.
But I think he was a bit better than average.
I gave him the 7 just for that ball because that got him up one more point in my book.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Dan, I like vision as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I like players who've got vision. So I gave him 1 extra point. Otherwise, it would have been a 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And look, Matt, I just keep seeing comments off you all the time on every show. Now, do you know what? I've got no problem. I've got no problem with that, mate. Seriously, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I will quite happily listen to your opinion. And if I feel your opinion is better than mine, I will put my hands up and say, yeah. But you debate with everybody so hard. And do you know what? To an extent, I respect that. You stand by your guns.
Yeah.
But purely for you, nobody else. Do you actually want to come on here? And I will not go to town on you, and sure as hell Elly won't, to give your opinion across. I'm going to put a link on here just for you, no one else. I won't let no one else on. For Matt, please come on and put your point across and talk it. Because sometimes when you're trying to say things in a chat,
it can come across more.
It's a lot harder because it's more compact.
Differently as well. Some people can read your.
Oh, and Elly's gone again. I'm sure she'll be back. But Matt, don't come on and just give your point, mate. I'm not going to stick into you and have a go at you and that, but I will question your views and give me some answers to back up what you say, basically. Because you do seem to argue with a lot of people, fella. But if that's your opinion at the end of the day and you're set on it, fine. But then try and get other people's opinions as well. Yeah? Try and get why other people haven't got the bloody patience now and just don't want this manager in. Don't be so set in your way. But I appreciate you've got a different opinion. So I've put the link out for you, fella. Come on here. I won't tell you a new one. Sure as hell Elly won't either. She'll protect you.
I've got my pig hat on as well, so I'm being lady.
We'll have exactly. And we can have a down-to-earth talk on why you are so set on believing in what you believe in. But so, Elly, you've gone for a 7 with Spence, and I've gone with a 6. So now we come to Benson Core.
Oh, I really like Benson Core, but he's been playing.
I did. I used to.
I don't like him as much now because he's playing rubbish, but I still believe there's a player in there. He hasn't lost all that skill, has he? He's got a lot of attributes that I like, especially when he pivots and runs. I love that.
Yeah, but you just hardly see it anymore.
I haven't seen it since his injury.
I've seen it in bits and bobs, but nothing more, nothing less. I've seen him have 1 or 2 games, but I can't say I've seen him have a special game or whatever. I mean, Elly, I thought he was that poor. I'd give him a 3 if he's lucky.
Yeah, I'll give him a 2 because he was.
You thought he was that bad?
Yeah, he was so bad. He's passing, just leaving gaps. He's supposed to be the CDM, isn't he? He was leaving gaps. They were just running through.
He wasn't.
He hasn't got the legs to get back either because that ACL is affecting him.
It's where with all this double pivot crap and whatever else and that, it just don't suit him. But I just don't. I don't know. He's another one who I do think there is more of a player there than it shows because we have seen him play really good. And I do think it's another one for the system, which it just don't suit him, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, he gets a 3. For you, he gets a 2. Either way, he was shit.
Yeah.
And then we go to Basuma. Now, I've had people tell me that Basuma had a worse game than Bentancur. For me, no chance.
No, he didn't.
I'm not saying he was good.
No.
He was pretty poor as well, but I don't think he had a worse game than Bentancur.
No.
That's where I feel Bentancur gets a bit of favouritism.
Yeah. I think Basuma, he's playing it safe, right? He's playing it safe and he passes the buck too much. I was thinking, drive with the ball because that's what he's good at, right? And he did it once, only in the game, right? And I just feel he's playing under himself, lack of confidence maybe. But the way Ange wants him to play one-touch football, he doesn't like that. He's a very thoughtful player. He likes to get on the ball and express himself, drive forward with the ball, and our system's not allowing him to do that. But I'll give him a 4. I'm being generous, but he was double better than Bentancur, so he got a 2.
Yeah,
so I'm doubling up and giving him a 4, but I can't give him any more than that.
I mean, I would personally. I'm going to have to go with a 4 as well because he was below average.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe he was bad as Bentancur, and some are saying Bentancur played better. Now, for me, when it comes to Sarr, apart from that goal, I don't think he was.
He got into that shooting position, which he muffed. And then what did he do? He just ran around a lot, not really linking up the play, not finding pockets of space that he can utilise and put one on them. Yeah, and he was non-existent really. Apart from that shot and the goal, did you notice he was on the pitch? Did he do anything?
One, the ball came out clean to him where a lot of people would have smacked that in the back of the net and he put it about 6 yards wide.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's all
I don't think he had I don't think he had a good game.
No.
I really don't. He might have scored.
He was hanging on to Basuma too much as well. He was like 5 yards away from Basuma. Whether Ange just told him to do that because he knows his passing is not that good, because it's not. He loses the ball a lot, right? But he's got an engine. That's why he's probably in the team, because he can get about the pitch. But if you're getting about the pitch, you've got to affect the game as well on the other half. You can't just be getting around the pitch and not affecting the game in a positive manner.
That's what I thought Bergvall was a bit like. He got around everywhere and that, but there was no real end product of it. But he played better than Papasara and that. I don't deny that. But apart from that absolute shambles of a shit cross that ended up looking quite good going in the back of the net, I thought Sarr had a pretty poor game as well. I think he was better than Bentancur and Johnson. Not Johnson, Bentancur and Basuma. But apart from that goal,
that missed goal, it wasn't supposed to be a goal.
I'll give him a 5.
Yeah, I do as well. I'll give him a 5 because just if he didn't score that goal, which was a fluke, I would have given him a 4 as well, because he didn't do anything to affect the game. And the shot that he did, he should have scored that one rather than the other one, which was a fluke. So yeah, 5 is maybe 5 is a bit generous. I'll give him a 5. Go on, because he
Matt, come on, mate. He did. I'll give him a 5. And come on, Matt, jump on and give us your solid opinion. I won't go to town on you. I'll be straight and civil with you, because I would actually quite like to speak to you, Matt, and try and get your point. I won't understand it because I just can't understand anyone who defends Ange. But I will try and get your point and let you put your point across, and I won't go to town on you, fella. So come on, mate. The link is on there. Jump on and give everyone your solid opinion, because then you're not going to have to argue with 20 people on the chat and everything, and you will be able to get your honest opinion across. And I actually want to hear it. But in that aspect, come on and say your piece. Do it. But with that one,
2 ears and 1 mouth. So we're all ears.
I'll go with a 5. Now we go to Brenda Johnson. Oh my God. Please, I cannot fucking stand this player. And it is nothing to do with who he is. It is nothing to do with what, when, how. I just think it's like Sava and Stell say it and others say it. He's got to be one of the slowest quick players I've ever seen. He's shit on the ball. He can't cross. He can't pass. He's got, I mean, when people say like he ain't got no bollocks on him, I don't even think he's have dropped yet the way he plays. And with that aspect, no, seriously, Elly, I don't even think his balls have dropped yet, let alone got up here. And I just, apart from those tap-ins, he offers absolutely nothing but a game. He'll score his tap-in, fine. I don't care how it goes in. He's gone. I mean, you might as well stick him in a fucking Harry Potter or something like that, mate. He just, he's gone.
Baked potato, see you later.
Exactly that. Yeah, and he don't get back. He don't. What does he actually offer apart from that? I mean, and people will say, yeah, it saved our ass a couple of times. I am not denying it. But
he didn't even get into positions to tap it in yesterday, did he?
For 47 million we paid for this fella. And wow, talk about get your trousers pulled down. That is just an understatement. He don't take on his man. He just, I could totally understand why he got taken off. Look, I'm going to give him a 2, and that's being nice, because I just don't think he was as shit as Romero. I mean, if I could both give him a -1, then I probably would. But I'm just going to give him
1 shit in one hand and 2 shits in the other.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to give him a 2 just for his haircut. Simple as that.
Yeah. Or putting his shorts on the right way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got 7 brothers, so I know what bollocks is. Right,
Yeah.
but yeah, Brendan Johnson, the tapping king, right? He's a totally useless footballer. He is inept. He hasn't got one bit of skill on him. He can't cross a ball. He just can't. He hardly ever controls it well. Yeah, and like you said, he's the fastest, slowest player, or the slowest, fastest player in the league. Because I haven't seen it.
It looks like he couldn't take a donkey on, for God's sake.
His legs are like chicken legs as well. He hasn't got no power, no physicality to hold
Look,
off a
Elly,
player.
you know what? He's one of them players that even down to the way he runs, like Sterling.
Yeah.
I find it quite comical the way he works. I mean, for me, I think Brenda Johnson is in the wrong job. I personally think he should be working for Disney.
I'll give him my hat. He'll look good in his hat.
No, do you know what, Elly? No. Elly, I ain't going to go with that. He's not worth your hat, never in a million miles.
My hat's too light for him.
And there is nothing wrong with wearing pink. Some people can wear pink as a man and get away with it. Some people can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to give him a 1 though. I'm going to put him with Romero because he was shit. He was total pants. He didn't do anything in the game, but you could say give him more than a 1. But really, I want to give him a 0. But I'm going to give him 1 just for putting his shorts on the right way.
I mean, yeah. I'll give him a 2. And like I said about your hat, pink don't look. I mean, I can actually get away with wearing a light pink shirt and it looks good.
Lovely.
But if I go and wear purple, if I go and wear a purple shirt or something, which I do not do, I definitely look like I go. How should I put this? I definitely look like I go round the roundabout the wrong way. If you get what I mean, like just it don't look. How should I put it, Elly? It don't look good.
I won't send you our purple shirt then.
It don't. I mean, no, a football shirt, yeah, but a shirt. When I used to wear them a lot, I don't get away with purple. It does not look right on me. I definitely get the wrong sort of attraction. For me, anyway, personally. Like I say, at the end of the day, no problem with anyone and that, whatever turns you on at the end of the day. But I can't say that does for me personally. But anyway, this is drifting. Right, so let's go to Solanke. Or no, tell you what, let's go to Odegaard before we go to Solanke. Let's go to Odegaard.
Oh,
I think there was a bit of threat off him at times. But again, there was nothing on the end of it. I think the boys actually showing. Yeah, I think he's actually got some control of the ball. I think you can see there is a player there on the ball. But again, is he going to be another Timo Werner? Because I don't see no good passes. I don't see no good crosses. And some of his shots, I find the majority of them, he might as well play fucking rugby. And it just, I haven't seen enough. Eh? What's that? I missed what you said, sorry.
They're all in the wrong profession. They're all in the wrong profession. They all should be playing rugby,
And with that, I think he looks all right on the ball. And but is he just going to be another Timo Werner? Yeah. But when it comes to the end product as such, I just don't feel. I just don't feel you. I just don't feel you see anything off him. And just like you're right, Beth, how you doing? Hope you're having a good drive with your granddad. She's saying here, can we keep off last night? Keep it where it belongs. Basically, it's in the past. It's done and dusted. Any comments nasty that basically get made about last night will be deleted out of all respect. Thank you, Beth. And I would ask the same of my other mods. One information I will give everybody, seeing as people do keep asking, Sava is okay. He's fine. It was just one of them nights. And he just needs a little chill out. Nothing more, nothing less. I've had messages off him this morning. He's fine. Yeah? Just leave it at that and it's done and dusted. and we will carry on from there. And I've only gone into it because people keep asking, and I presume that's because there's several people who care, and there's also the ones who don't. But Odegaard, I'll give him a 5 because he put the effort in, and I did see some positive stuff off him on his feet as such. But again, no end product, which is what I basically saw with Bergvall, but we'll go to him. So I will give him a 5. I mean, the one thing he done, Elly, that really got my, that just like, mate, will you just pass the fucking ball? Is when he was in the top left corner and he had the ball, took 2 men on, got him round them, and then stands there. And then tries to take them on again. You're like, what are you doing? All right, if you can't get the crossing, you pass it back. And you're like, you've already got, why are you doing it again? And he lost the ball with it because he held on to it too long.
Yeah.
And
I know. And
I'll give him a 5.
Put him through. Yeah, I'll give him a 5 as well, because when Spence put him through, he muffed it. And like you said, he's got something about him. He knows how to dribble, but he does too much. Just get that ball, pick out a pass. It's all about decision making, right? You beat your player, you look up, right? Well, you should really be playing with your head up anyway, not like Lucas Moura used to do with his head down. You've got to look up, see what's on, and put that pass through so that you affect the game. You give a player a shooting opportunity to get us a goal. But he did none of that. He done all the bit. It's like you're doing all, you know, when you're making a cake, you put all the ingredients in and then you forget the cherry on the top. That's the Odegaard for you. He just does too much. And then he fluffs his lines, right? So 5 is the best I can give him, and I'm being generous because I could have easily given him a 4 for muffing up.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think I am going to go with a 4 because he did put the effort in, but there was just no end product when there was several chances. You know, there was one point where he got the ball and he was right up at the line and he did actually drill it in there quite nicely.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I've just got to write a message to you.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
I think 4, sending a message
might
to
be a better score. 4 might be a better score because he wasn't bang average. He was below average because when you think about it, he didn't do. His decision making wasn't good. Yeah, and that goes for all our wingers. It's only Sonny really who's got a good decision maker. That's why he assists so many goals. But even him, he's dropped off big time. You can see it, but I still think he offers more than the other two, Johnson and Odegaard. When he came on, he made a bit more difference, but I think Sonny's better off the bench now. 100% off the bench, just for this season, and then next season sell him. But they've given him a new contract, haven't they?
Yeah, is that so they can get more money out of it, or is it so or is it just the PC thing? Like, why I reckon he's captain.
We
go to Son in a minute. Leave it with Son. We go to him in a minute, Elly. And Solanke. What actually is he meant to do, and what actually is he good at? I mean, after the game, for me, he looked absolutely foobarred. And what I mean by foobarred, if anyone hasn't watched it, it means fucked up beyond all recognition. He looked absolutely shattered. I know he's coming back off an injury, whatever, and that. But again, I hear he's this perfect man for Ange's system. He's this and that. I've never said he's a shit player. Again, he's just another player for me that's like, meh. Has a moment sort of thing, but meh. And he's only ever had one good season for me, and I just don't see how that justifies the money we bloody paid for him. What actually does he do on that pitch? People say he holds the ball up well. I'm like, when? I've seen it a couple of times. He's just another one. I do not put him in the same world as Brenda. Never.
No.
If I'm going to rate him to Brenda, I'll give him a bloody 8. But if I just don't see what he's actually meant to be done. Are we playing him the wrong way? Quite possibly, because we do the rest the wrong way. But I don't actually see what his job is. Is his job a target man? Is he almost a false 9 at times? Is he meant to do a Harry Kane and a 9 and a 10? Is he an advanced forward? Is he a how do you call it, a high press forward? What actually is he?
You've answered your question there. He's a bit of jack of all trades and masters of none. You know,
I wouldn't even go that far.
He's not even brilliant at scoring, because if you look at his record throughout his career, it's pretty pants.
Yes.
It's not good. It's not brilliant, is it? Right?
No,
he's not
definitely not.
He's good at holding the ball up. His strongest asset is his pressing and his hard work rate. But why would you pay £65 million for somebody who's hard working? You want
pineapple on a pizza, Elly. Sorry to interrupt. I've just got to have a dig at my wife here. Leave pineapples on pizzas out of it. God, if there is one, which I don't believe in anything. I mean, if I was to believe in something, I'd rather go Greek or Vikings as such, because God's more fun. But let's leave that religious stuff out of it. But God put pineapples on this planet to go on pizzas. That is the reason they're there, to go on pizzas. I don't know about you, but that is that.
You like pineapple on pizza then?
Oh, without a doubt. With plenty of chilies on there and pepperonis.
But us Greeks, we make these Greek cheesecakes called florines.
Yes, right? I've tried one.
I don't like the raisins in them. I just like them with the cheese and the herbs.
I get what you mean.
I can't eat it with the raisins, because raisins they're quite sickeningly sweet, whereas pineapple on a pizza, it's delicious, because you get the savoury.
Exactly. With all the pepperonis and all the like the bird's eye chilies and the jalapeno on there. I have, but anyway, we've drifted.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to put Beth in her place, basically.
I'm going to give Solanke a 5, because he didn't affect the game. He wasn't a terrible. It wasn't terrible, but it's pretty bad.
He didn't get fed much, did he?
No, he didn't get fed much. But when you're a striker, you make room for yourself. You make the right runs. So
some strikers do, Elly.
But he hasn't. He hasn't got that. Whether Ange has told him to pick up the ball and hold it up for us, but that's not his strongest suit. His strongest suit is when he gets into the box. Most of the goals that he scored was where we picked him up and he scored a good goal. Yeah, like the one against Villa, the one against Chelsea at the back post, where he's been in the box or around about the box. But he's not going to be effective where Harry Kane used to be. But first of all, he's not as good as Harry Kane at shielding the ball or holding it up. And he's not as good as drawing a foul, because he's quite an honest player. You know, I'll give him a 5, because he wasn't a 4. He did run about,
he did get about, and he did try, but he didn't get much service. This is where I mean, for me, there's about 5-6 different types of a forward, of a striker, whatever you want to call it, of whatever tactics, whatever style you use. And I do like to use a sort of crossbreed up there in the aspect of a target man crossed with an advanced forward as such. Yeah. I want my forward to be able to pass the ball if he needs to, score with his left, score with his right, score with a header, but be able to hold the ball back for someone else to come in at the same time, which is actually quite asking a lot. But that's why I would play a forward to pretty much stay in my box. And plain Jane and simple, then I want the people crossing the balls in. And that is why I rate Harry Kane as a player, because the other thing he can do, which a lot of forwards can't do, and you get other forwards who can, like Abramovich, Christian Vieira used to. I wouldn't say Shearer quite so much, but he did it as well. He feeds himself. He doesn't need someone to feed the ball all the time. This is where I rate Haaland very highly, but I would still say Harry Kane is a more complete player for the sheer fact that he can actually make something himself. Whereas Haaland very rarely, without KDB playing, he doesn't make his own goals, if you get what I mean. But again, that's just purely opinionated.
Like at Dortmund, he used to do a lot of his own goals, but with Man City, he's asked to play the target man, which he's bloody good at. Yeah, so if it works, don't change it. That's totally. But Pep's got the best out of Haaland, Because even at Dortmund,
Oh, without a doubt.
yeah, because he's playing in a better, stronger league in the Prem, and he's doing it. He's obviously got 21 goals this season, and he's not even having a particularly brilliant season for his standards.
Exactly. As all I'm saying is, I like my striker to also be able to feed themselves as such, not have to be fed all the time. But on the other aspect of it as well, feed yourself. If you're not getting that bloody ball, what can you do as a striker? And if you're having to come back deeper and deeper and deeper, then we see some of the issues we did have with Harry Kane. But the advantage we did have with him is at one stage, I think his passing in the Premier League was only second to KDB when he used to get the long ball, short balls, direct balls forward because he had Sonny running onto it. But again, all ifs, buts and maybes with that one of what could have been there, done it, got the storybook. So do we both agree on like Solanke gets a 5?
Yeah. And that, at Bournemouth, he was played as an out-and-out number 9, because I remember when we beat him 3-1.
That's right.
I think we beat him 3-2 a couple of seasons ago. He had about 8 or 9 chances that he muffed. He muffed them all, but he was in the box and they were feeding him. And he scored 19 goals that season. So if we played him out as an out-and-out number 9, I think he would benefit. But we need 2 better wingers to feed him. Maddison can pick him out. But he's not even getting into the team all the time.
No, I mean, I don't know what I mean. Let's go to the subs, yeah. I'm going to try and not drag this on too much, yeah. But we're giving our opinions about the players, not just he was shit or he was good. We give reasons where some people just say it their way, and that's what it is. I'll go to Maddison straight away. I think when he came on, I think we looked like a slightly better team straight away. I'm not saying we looked like a good team. I think he definitely made the most impact out of all the subs. And some very good passes, but he also lost, if I remember right, he lost the ball and they nearly scored with it on a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he also done that good pass to playing Son for the penalty. And
that was a good one
Maddison,
too, that was.
Yeah. I just think Maddison is one of the ones who's actually had the bottle to go up to Ange and say, we ain't digging your system. Or Ange has walked into the bedroom and caught Maddison with Ange's wife, and he's going to turn around to say to Maddison, get the fuck out of the team, you're never playing again. But Maddison's turned around and said, but mate, I've got pictures as well. So he's getting some game time.
You're making me laugh now. I
don't know. But Maddison, for me, go on, Elly, go on.
I just feel like he was the one. Ange was the one who said to Maddison, as I heard it then, that if you want to come to this club, you're coming to play, and we want you to play for this club, right? And then he does the complete opposite. As soon as Madders has a bit of a suspect game, he drops him to the bench, whereas other players have been playing very suspect for a lot longer than Maddison. And Maddison, I think he's our top scorer and our top assister.
I think he's joint top scorer with Johnson.
Yeah. And he's
with bloody Brenda. With Brenda. Oh, my days, does that show how shockingly shit we are?
He contradicts himself so much, Ange Postecoglou. The things that he does.
Maddison even gets taken off when he's one of the better players on the bloody pitch.
I know.
Or when we need to create a goal, Maddison gets taken off.
Yeah, like against Alkmaar. He takes him off. And I'm thinking, all right, he didn't have a brilliant game, but he could pick that one pass that makes the big difference.
And at times, Maddison pisses me off. Because I think Maddison can be a bit of a bitch sometimes. And what I mean by that is, like, when it's not going his way, he turns into a little bit of a crybaby at times. But he has got the capability to turn around. But then again, he's also played as a number 10 playmaker. And he has 2 inverted wing backs either side of him. centre backs behind him, centre mids behind him, inverted in front of. He hasn't got no where to pass it to when that is what he is best at.
His peripheral vision is disturbed, isn't it? Because when you're a creative player, when you pick the ball up, your first instinct is to look what's going on around you. And if you've got players in your grill, then fuck off out my grill. That's why he's probably said that to Ange, 100%, right? And he sees him as a bit of a troublemaker, so to punish him, because Ange Postecoglou is a bit of a stubborn old fart. He will do that just to spite a player, put him in his place, so he's top dog. No, like, it's my way or the highway, mate. You're not coming into my grill telling me what to do, right? If you don't want to play my system, you're getting dropped. That's what it is.
I agree. I think he is the one who's had the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I might have to give that one a go. I can't say I've tried that one.
Good.
But yeah, Maddison for me, when he came on, I'll give him a 7 because I think he changed that game.
Yeah.
So we go to Bergvall quickly. Let's cover these quickly because I've just still got one or two points I want to make.
I'll give him a 6 for the shot that he did, that brilliant shot, and forgetting about the pitch and getting into their grill, getting a little bit of muscle on them, you know, making sure that they don't think they can do what they want. Because he did get about a bit. All right, he wasn't brilliant. I'm not saying he was brilliant, but he done a brilliant shot. And
he was better than the other centre mids.
But he's still raw. He's still raw as a footballer. So he's still got to learn a lot about discipline as well. Because sometimes he goes a little bit over the top.
Yeah, I mean, in that aspect, I can show a player a bit of leeway through experience. But when they play shit on the ball and don't do their job, I will grill them just as much as someone who has been playing for 20 years.
Yeah.
Not that you usually get many that do that. But my point is, with other situations, I will give him the leeway in the aspect of experience. But comes to control of the ball or a shit shot or a crap cross, I will grill him just like the rest of them. If he's old enough to get paid 40 grand and good enough to play on the pitch, and I will judge him the same.
There's one particular thing I like about Bergvall.
There's a very good player there, and you can see it. There is a very good player there.
He's good at driving with the ball. When he gets the ball, and his only instinct is not to pass it sideways, to go forward. That's what I like about him. He picks up and he wants to go forward with the ball. Whereas all the other players are running scared. All they want to do is just pass the buck.
Yeah, and I respect him for that. Fair play. But
fair play.
He
doesn't deserve more than a 6 because he didn't.
Because there was no end product, was there? At it?
Apart from that shot and getting in their grill, you give him a 6 for that because the shot was brilliant. What a fantastic shot that clobbered off the post.
But if I have 10 shots during the game and they're brilliant shots, but all come off the post, they're pretty much...
It's no good. You need them to go in the back of the net, but it was so close to going in the back of the net. It was a brilliant shot. It was probably from about 25, 30 yards as well. So the boy can hit a ball, but he's still got to learn a lot with the discipline end of the football as well, because he can easily get sent off. Because he's so young, I think the refs are letting him off.
You think so?
Yeah, sometimes. Because look against Liverpool. He put one on that player. I think it was Simicas. He put one on him and he stayed on the pitch and then he scored the winner. Yeah, but he's still got a lot to learn. He's raw. You can see there's something there. I can see there's something there.
Yeah, and I think give him a bit of time. I think he's going to get good. Do we need to put him on loan? Possibly not, because he is getting the game time. But one thing I'm going to do quickly, Elly, for everyone, is for a simple yes or no vote, yes or no. That's all I'm going to put.
In the chat.
Do you want pineapple on a pizza? Yes or no? And let's see the percentage on that, because it seems like it's turning into a bit of a fruity debate as such. And so with that aspect, I think he had a 6. Yeah. And he got about and everything, but there was just no end product of it. Yeah. So Let's now go to Mr. Son Heung-Min or Heung-Min Son, whatever people want to call him. I think he also had a respectable game when he came on.
Yeah.
And again, he got the penalty. He scored the penalty. And I think he got about, you can see his pace, his stamina's going. I think he's a last 30-minute, 20-minute player now.
Yeah, definitely.
But do you know what? Considering the games he has been playing, if I go for a 7, am I going too far?
Yeah. I think just for getting, if he didn't get the penalty, it would have been a 5. Because I don't think he did anything that special. The move that he did with Maddison to get the penalty and getting the penalty, I think he deserves a 6, just about.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't do anything other than that was anything special.
And the penalty itself, I thought, was pretty dangerous but confident as such, which I liked in that.
Right.
I mean, again, it's another one. I thought Solanke was our penalty taker.
Yeah, but
I mean, and as a captain,
the last one and he missed it, didn't he? And I think they were trying to do a bit of shit.
I think Son was trying to. I think Son was trying to prove a point, basically.
Yeah, I think he wanted to score the penalty to give himself a bit more confidence as well. Because Solanke had the ball, and he was giving it to Bournemouth players, weren't he? They were trying to wind him up, and he said, "Fuck off." Sorry to swear, but he did. I saw him laughing. He goes, right, and and then Sonny just took the ball and calmly put it in the middle of the goal. So sweet. Brilliant penalty. But it could have gone wrong if Kepa just stood there.
Of course it can go wrong. Yeah. But he's not a good captain. Not for me. No, not my captain material. Right, the last two we go to quickly then. Because I've already done.
You've got to be a hard nut to be and be able to go up to players and really put it to them when they're not playing well in the match, not after the match or before the match. In the match, I've seen him do it a couple of times, but he doesn't do it with vigor. He doesn't do it with any purpose. You know, he's too nicey, Sonny, to be a captain. The best captain really would be Romero, I would say. But even
no,
because he doesn't
get what you're saying.
By example, you've got to be a captain.
No, not necessarily by example. No, Harry Kane is a captain who leads by example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Romero would be more of a Roy Keane sort of thing, but just for his mentality and the fact that he don't want to be here anymore and whatever, for me, he's not a captain.
Yeah.
The only player we've got at the moment who I would say is captain material is one of 2, and that's Van der Ven, because I think he's cool, calm, whatever, got his knowledge of the football and that. And he was a captain for the under-21s in Holland.
Yeah. And
the other one I'd give for it is Vicario, and I don't actually like a captain as a goalkeeper.
Vocal.
You know, but he is very vocal.
He's so vocal. He's like that up there vocal, right? You can hear him from the middle of the pitch. I've been behind the goal, Dan, right? If you can still hear me. Everybody in the chat, I've been behind the goal, and Vicario, he leads that defence. He drills them, but sometimes they don't listen. That's the problem. You've got to listen to your goalie because he can see things in front of you, what's happening and who's moving to score a goal, to pick him up, you know. So I think Vicario would make an excellent captain. But we had Lloris. He was vocal the first few years we had him, but then he went all quiet, right? I don't know whether it was a confidence thing with Lloris. The last couple of seasons he was pretty poor. But yeah, I think Vicario would do a very grand job. I was just saying to the chat that when I've been behind the goal, and Vicario's so vocal and he sees everything. He's very good at drilling players, but some of them don't listen. Because as a goalie, you can see what's happening, who's moving in to score a goal, you know, making the right move. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go.
Yes.
You're all right, Alex. How you doing? I mean, I've got about another 10 minutes left of me. I'll just let my little brother in. And then the last one it comes down to is Van der Ven. I think he had a respectful game when he came on. Good to see him come back on, but I think you can see he's shit scared of his hamstrings. I'll give him.
Yeah.
I'll give him a 6 because he came on, he did the job, but you could see he was a bit rusty on the ball.
Yeah, he didn't do anything spectacular. He did one run, but then you can see he's not putting the burners on.
Yeah, not straight away. I mean, he's probably scared.
Yeah, he's probably scared because on that run he did, when he did that run at Man United's ground, he went full pelt and went right for the jugular, and we scored a brilliant goal. But that he could have done the same, but he just pulled up and he passed it inside. So I'll give him a 5. I wouldn't give him a 6 because I don't think he did anything spectacular when he came on. He was okay, bang average, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, Alex? He didn't do anything spectacular.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you're right.
I agree. Alex, how are we doing, mate? You cool?
Yeah, like you're saying, mate. Saying Spurs different day, innit? You know what I mean?
It was. So go on then, Alex. Since I've got 10 more minutes. I mean, I keep saying I do these meant to be doing an hour and a half, and it's already gone 2.5 nearly. Just the game yesterday. I'm sure that's what you've come on here to talk about.
Listen. The game is the game, innit? It's what we've been seeing for so long now, innit? Really, you know what I mean? Big up Elly, by the way, every single time. You know what I mean? My motivation was more to see because it's nice to see Elly's bright, smiling face on the stream. You know what I mean?
Okay then. So your motivation to come on my show was to actually see Elly. Do you know what? I'll speak to you another day, mate.
No. Yeah, no, I mean, it's nice. It's not, but no.
I know what you mean. Of course, I know what you mean, fella.
You know what?
You look after me.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just like no. Listen. Like you know what? I don't know what else I can say on the situation down anymore now because without repeating myself. That's the problem I have at the moment. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's been like this for about 1.5 years now. You know what I mean? Especially about this manager. I don't know what else I can say. The only thing I can say is at the moment I was so wrong about waiting for us to see how bad it is until we see where the ball's sticking with the man. And the thing is though, it's the wrong man at the moment for me completely. And I think it summed it up, like I said before. Sorry to people that if I'm repeating myself again, I do apologise. But it summed it up after how much longer we had on the training pitch in 8 days rest, and we had I think another 8 days rest as well for Man United, and then after Alkmaar, and we're doing the same thing. So he hasn't learned, Ange, and. You know, I think it's just got to that point now where I don't know what else to say on him anymore. I just think it's. I've zoned out. I've fell out of love with the club now. I'm doing other things now. I'd rather be somewhere else than watching Tottenham or actually going to Tottenham. Going to Tottenham, he's not even going to Tottenham now. Going to the games now. It's actually watching Tottenham because I don't want to get to that point anymore because it's just and Ange is just annoying. I don't even listen to him. I mean, he has a go at the fans when I'm just sitting there saying, well, mate, you got to do something yourself. You got to sort out your tactics. You know what I mean?
You want respect,
listen to his coaching staff or something.
But you want respect. You want respect. Bloody earn it. Give me something to respect.
That's the thing. I need to see it. I've always said it over the years. I've said I need to see it. And if I don't see anything, I'm not going to support it. But then I'm calling it.
Believe it.
It seems believing, yeah. And it's just I'm just sick of it, really. You know what I mean? And like I said, that first goal summed up why we don't like the tactics. Summed up perfectly why we don't like these tactics. That first goal.
Crap again, wasn't it? Basically down to inverted. Apart from Brenda losing the bloody ball like he did through it, the pass went to him, and then just his ball control was just absolute
I don't care about the result because we did deserve that result. Like I'm that past. Like even if people say I've got an agenda against the manager,
2-2 was a good result against Bournemouth. 2-2 was a good
but my point is though,
the
Dan,
way we got it. Dan,
I'd rather have lost the match because then it's more agenda against Ange now. Because I've got to that point now where I can't stand him. But listen, he's got me that sick of him now. Right now, I've got sick of Tottenham that much. Yeah, but the problem I have at the moment with my agenda is that, like I said, like we were speaking about yesterday, yeah. And maybe I was being a bit devil's advocate, but also at the same time, it's history. I don't know if this ownership will get the manager right because it's so clear we need a coach. And like, for me, there are coaches out there in Europe that are like a Pochettino, like a Areola. And for me, we need that at the moment. For me, I would just get rid of Ange right now if I had the choice because I can't do it anymore. But I know we're not going to do it. But it's just and get somebody who's a coach to coach these players, even if it's just a little burst at the moment, just so we can go into next season. You know what I mean? You know,
I get what you're saying. I mean, for me, again, how do I describe this? Just thank God I don't personally have this problem and that. I mean, I can't vouch for anybody else on the planet, but I personally don't have this problem. If someone don't turn you on, you just can't do it. And basically Spurs don't turn me on. And I really struggle.
The difference is
now, hang on, Elly. Just let Elly, let me finish. Yeah, and Spurs just don't turn me on anymore. And they definitely don't get me up, if you get what I mean, and out the chair. So in that aspect, that is just the way I will describe that situation. It just, yeah, maybe not the best way to put it, but still, they don't get me up for sure. Anyway, go on, Alex, what you're saying. Sorry, mate.
No, listen, it's. I mean, I know you've got to end the show soon. It's not really a big deal because I need to do things on Bristol Box Office TV anyway, and I was only going to be here for not that long anyway. But it's just for me, it just. Yeah, I think I feel the same way as you, Dan. I felt like this for a long time now, and I think I've been forcing it because I do YouTube and stuff. But because now I've started to realise now, and people get sick of me being third person, but that's the fun of the whole thing. That's being creative. You know what I mean? I don't really care. You know what I mean? Because you know, at the day, you know, you're in third person loads of times these days. Sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just the awe of the whole thing. But you know. That's the mystical thing about it, you know what I mean? But it's just on the Tottenham team. There's nothing I can get up for anymore. Even criticising, I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of it. I don't want to criticise them.
You just can't get it up. I mean, the fella here, Alex, is saying you can take a blue pill for that. I mean, no, you can't take a blue pill for that, mate. You need a fucking Spurs pill. And I just don't think there is none.
Maybe a blue and white pill.
Yeah, not for me, mate. But it's just like for me. This is the thing. It's just it does affect you to the point as well. So then you just think, well, just keep away from it. You know what I mean? I just keep away from it, and I'm so much better from keeping away from it anyway. I'm just tired of the Ange fans, the Ange lovers. I'm sorry, I have to say it, saying, well, we're going to be positive, and you know they're Ange out. But they just can't say it because they know they're going to get criticised. They know they're going to get criticised.
50-50 with that, Alex, yeah? I think there's the ones that have just stood on their high horse so long, they just don't want to accept that they're wrong, and hopefully they get proved right. This is where just the football side of things is just bollocks in the aspect of how political it is and all that crap. I'm not going to go into it, but it's if you don't believe what I believe, and it's usually from that side, the Ange side, that if you don't believe what I believe in that, you're labelled this. Do you know what, mate? Stick it. I couldn't care less. And with that, it's just, I think some people just won't back off their high horse and admit that they got it wrong. None of us wanted to get this right. We all wanted Ange to do spectacular at Spurs and Werner to score 20 goals and Johnson to be excellent on the ball and that, but they're not. And it's shit and it shows. And in the aspect of it's shit and it shows, it looks like it wasn't even put in the bloody washing machine. And with that, it's just it is what it is. And then you've got the others who just, they actually believe in him. Okay, I can get it that you're hoping that you've got the confidence he can do something, but what has he actually done by those first 10 games that can give you anything to have any confidence?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, unfortunately, Dan, facts don't do any feelings. Yeah, as like I said before. Yeah, I think it's 11 wins, 11 losses, and 7 draws or something like that. Or I haven't got it. And like I think that's the last. I haven't got it. I haven't got the thing because I normally have. I should have this to the hand straight away. But I mean, I think Brian put a stat up. Put some facts up about I think the last 20 games or something like that, and we would be 17th in the form table. I mean, it's. I mean, the facts are going against this manager, and it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? And like I said, yeah, nothing against Elly because Elly, cover your ears. You know what I mean? You don't want to hear this, Elly. But facts doesn't do feelings. You know what I mean? Facts do not do feelings. You know what I mean? And that's it for this manager. And it's going way against this manager for me, and that's all I've got to say. You know what I mean? Elly, you need to say anything. Back to you.
I was just going to say, right? It's like when you're in love with something. Right, and then you fall out of love with it because something happened in that relationship, and you want to dump the person. The people that want to dump Ange are not doing it. They're holding on.
You want to dump it, do you, Elly? You want to dump it. If you're calling it, you shouldn't be with it.
You know what I mean? They don't want to dump it, being Ange. Because they feel that he can do something, but there's no solid evidence that you can recover that relationship. So why not just dump him? That's why when Sabah said Levy in, I'll rib him about it, but I get what he means because he's saying Levy in because he wants Levy to do what he normally does and dump the idiot who's making us worse. He's made us a laughing stock.
With what you've said and what Alex says and what most of us do say, again, I'm just going to repeat it, but others haven't heard it as such, but it's just the only way I can describe this. It's like I've gone past caring. We agreed on a few things the other day. We disagreed on a few things. That's just football. I've fallen out of love with Spurs. I don't personally believe that because otherwise you wouldn't even be here making that comment. I just think we're at a stage where we don't like what we love. And for me, you don't actually have to like something to love it. I can speak for a few people on here. I can speak and maybe not, yeah? I've had a daughter for 19 years. And when she hit those teenage years for a good 4 years, I did not like her. She can be watching this and she fucking knows it. I did not like her at all. But I still loved her and I still done my dad dues and I still had to go up to school and sort the shit out and I still had to do this and still had to do that. And I'd done that because I loved her, but I did not like her. I know some would say like, that's a bad example, whatever else. But if anyone else can vouch on here and have a teenage daughter and tell me that they're all cushy and sweet, I will call you a liar. And it's just, I think it is the same thing with Spurs. I think we just don't like it anymore. It's not that we don't love it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here just going on and on and on and on. Yeah. We just don't like what the business is anymore. You can barely call it a club. You don't like the way we are at the moment, the way we play, the manager we got, some of the players we got, the tactics we don't use. You just don't like it anymore. I don't think anyone's fallen out of love. It's just we're not liking what we're loving. And that is, I mean, how many times has someone been in a relationship or you're married to your missus for how long and you don't like her for a day or two, or you don't like the husband for a day or two because they've done something wrong, but you still go, you still love them and stay with them. And I just think it's the example that I just gave with my daughter. You just, it's not that you fall out of love, you just don't like it and you haven't got a like to love. Do you two get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I've got 3 daughters myself, so I can relate to that. And Alex, you've got all this to look forward to, mate.
And listen, I think
beforehand.
Yeah, definitely. I hear you. I hear you, Dan, and I think you make. I can sense what you're saying there. To be honest with you, yeah, I wouldn't be here if I didn't love it. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't love what's going on. I've not liked it for a long time. I've not liked it for like a long time, mate. And it's I've been on, like I say. Again, I do apologise to the people that have heard this, but I've been on YouTube for a very long time now, and I've not been the same. Like since, unfortunately, I wasn't here. I wasn't on YouTube when Pochettino was in, because I think you would have seen a different side of me. But
you look
right now,
to going, innit, Alex?
Well, yeah,
you
yeah.
get up for a game, right? You get up for a game. You get your gear on. You put your Spurs shirt on, your Spurs whatever, your scarf. You go to the match, you meet your mates, you have banter with your mates, have a few drinks, have some food, go to the match, and you look forward to the match. Now, all we've got is what happens with our mates, the camaraderie with our mates. That's why we're going, not because we like the football, because the football's paid.
And it is just that point. And the bit I'm going to end this on with the last bit, as say, like, it's been nearly 3 fucking hours, and again, but I did not say I was only going to do a short show.
That's right.
But it is what it is. You know, when you start talking about football, you can sit here for 24 hours. Well, I personally can't, because I would pass out in the process. But in that aspect, it's how are we going to do against AZ?
Oh.
I think I'm sure, because I think we're very, very lucky on Thursday that they didn't score any more goals. That would have made it even more difficult, and I think Alkmaar would have got through otherwise. Because it's only 1-0, Tottenham can get in momentum and they could score 2 goals, and that could bring them through. They might let in a goal, they might score actually 3 goals, and they just scrape through 3-2. I think that might happen, so it might like be a 3-1, possibly. But that doesn't say to me I'm confident in Tottenham. No. But last part of the game, when we were starting to attack, and we were just overloading. Let's just be honest here. We were just all out attack, weren't we? We did one chance to start, and I just wonder.
And barely had a shot and none on target.
I know. Listen, Dan. You know what I feel about the manager. I'm not here to vouch for the manager here. I'm just going on what, because they do look like a below average side like us. You see what I'm saying? Now, listen again. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. And if we lose, well, we know what needs to happen. But I mean, the season's done. The season was done a long time ago for me anyway. But that's all I can say at the moment with it. I think we should be beating them at home, because I think they've left us an open avenue to get back into the game, because they didn't score a second or third goal to make it difficult in the second leg for us.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think we will win, but it's not because I like the tactics or anything like that. I know Bentancur's suspended. Not that I care, because he's a Juventus reject. I know we disagree on this, Dan, but the guy's he's pathetic as far as I'm concerned.
He was shocking. Me and Elly both agreed he was absolutely.
And I agree about you, Berval, by the way.
Romero.
I agree with you about Berval. Like, I'm not going over the top about him. I'm sorry. Nah, sorry. He's too busy. Doesn't do a lot. I absolutely agree with you. I said the same. I wasn't just copying you, Dan. I feel the same way. I think we'd go over the top. He did do a very good shot. He did a very good shot in the game. But I'm sorry, I can't overpraise somebody and say, oh, he's going to be really good. So I need to see more. I need more evidence.
I think he's going to turn out. Yeah, I think he's going to turn out a very good player, personally. Yeah, but it's still going to take a bit of time. And I think it's another one And I think Sava says this brilliantly, along with others as well, is the minute we get, especially a young player or whatever, or well, even a fucking player, within moments, a lot of Spurs supporters have made him out like it's the next Figo we've just bought, or the next Messi, or the next Ronaldo. And then it just goes on and on and on with that. And then when it comes crashing down, oh, he was shit anyway, we never should have got him. This is why I just don't even get most of our supporters. Now, I get having wanting to have confidence in the player and everything and that, but God, as all someone has to do is come on and touch the ball good once or twice, and next thing you know, Spurs fans are having bloody orgasms. And it's like, bloody hell, for God's sake. And it is what it is, really, in that aspect, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, my daughter's knocking on the door. I've got to go. All right.
Okay, well, Elly, I'm going to cut the show there. And Alex,
door.
thanks for coming on. Elly, brilliant to have you on. Please do come on again. Alex, thanks for popping on. And everybody, I don't ask very much, but give us a quick like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. And go and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody. See you later.
Bye-bye.